Runefolk, hello, hello, hello. Right back from the qualifier. Yeah, been. I'm feeling great. The weekend was good for me. I went to Top Cut once again, 2 weeks in a row now, and got faction champion for Ismir once again. So that is amazing. And yeah, I think I wasn't here too often for this season, but for season 2 of the AWOL, you probably have seen me quite a few times. But yeah, I think it's just the second time for me this season. So yeah, not too often showing, but but I'm therefore on my own tournament series, the NEC on Wednesdays, of course. Yeah. Oh, oh yeah, I've seen that someone else that made top cut and was the other Ysmir player that I was competing against for the faction champion is playing today, and I want to watch them. I'm not quite sure which table it is, but it's Flitz against Altered Aces Resh. I can check real quick which table number it is, so you can see this one as well. And I just have to find it. My yeah, it is. It is 6. Yeah, I do believe they changed it at some point back to 6. It's table 46. Yeah. Then I'll switch over to the gameplay scene and hope and it won't change back because I know that I will. Oh, I think we are on with the French stream as well. They are spectating the same game, so we might switch over to a different game since both streams having the same gameplay. Might be better to switch. Yeah, sure. And actually, this gameplay also, it's Akasha against Arjun and Spike from Russia. So that is okay. Yeah, sure. Oh, oh. I just realized Cole wrote they can't hear you. Okay, then I have to figure that out. Oh, that is. I'm very sorry about that. Oh, great to make sound checks before. I'm very sorry. Wait, it is.
So you're piping in audio
Yeah,
from
no, it works.
Discord, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Now it should work. I'm very
Right.
sorry.
If we can get that verified by someone, then after that we're ready to jump in.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm very sorry for that one, but now I do see it on OBS at least.
That's all right. We got there in the end.
Yeah.
That's the most important part.
Yeah.
That's the most important part. If you could shoot me over the tournament link, please.
Oh yeah, sure. I can send you the game link as well.
Yeah, that'll do perfectly. Then from there on out.
Yeah, and 10
Ooh,
link as
lucky
well.
number 13. All right. And the game has already gone underway. Looks like we're on day 3 currently.
Yeah.
3 or 4. And we're just, it's an even game still. Now, get me up to speed in this room.
So yeah, I'm also not quite sure what happened so far, but especially looking at, oh, I think I need to scroll down. Especially looking at the Akasha list, I do think it is a similar one than they played during the weekend, and there are some great uniques in there that just are kind of slider fans, but on a Ordis Trooper body, so they are super sweet, and they do just off you go a bunch, and probably just want to put a ton of good support synergies into the reserve, getting back their good cards that are in reserve, and that is a super sweet idea of an Akasha deck, and I might need to try and copy that myself soon. But yeah, just getting the inspiration from different players is so amazing in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think especially with the new set already looming over us, I think we are seeing a slight shift towards more expensive cards. right? We see a lot more payoff
Yeah.
for cards that cost more mana at a base cost or from your hand cost. We see cards that would punish you if you were not to play those cards, right? Where you get to play them for free. So then the spot for Ismir becomes so much better because that control position becomes more valuable. The hooked becomes more valuable in Aksum as well. So I think there's a bright future ahead for all Ismir enjoyers.
Yeah, I'm also very much looking forward for the new hero, especially Moyo. That hero just seems great to my gameplay, which I have been doing. Not everyone might enjoy this playstyle, but I very much am, and I think that deck especially is getting some great synergies, and also it's super exciting to see all in general all the new cards that are being released and what type of decks are possible with that then. And yeah, I can't really think of all the different synergies yet that are possible, but it's so great exploring this, and that's what I love about this game. Just all the synergies you find with uniques with different cards, and yeah, that's just amazing.
Yeah, and more often than not, that you are making a card work. The card in itself, can do some work, but it's really how the cards come together. Like you said, these synergies, how they come to fruition, that is what you love to see in a proper deck builder like Altered. Now, when you say like, oh, some people don't like to play against it, yeah, sure, controllers will always be a bit divisive, but it needs to exist to keep those mid-range decks in check.
Yeah.
And especially when we're looking at Atsaris and Basira getting stronger and stronger in the matches, it is so important that there is a viable answer to that, and I think Ismir is so well equipped to deal with that.
Yeah, and also here this Argent side, it is. Oh, I think Argent now just found their first unique, and I really love this Harvest card. It of course has some great synergies with other cards like the Ebenezer Scrooge, but that being a double-sided effect, you're giving your opponent a benefit as well. You oftentimes just don't see it, but yeah, just having a massive reserve and being able to play everything for 1 mana essentially would be super sweet with a Scrooge list. But I think this is quite a bit different, and we do here see whenever a character joins your expeditions, you anchor something. So yeah, that is pretty great on this Isan Boshi, and yeah.
Yeah, and look how deeply invested the Argent already is. Yeah, he has a big board ahead of him, but when you're giving it over to Nakesha, who only invested just the 2 mana, you can't help but feel a little uneasy, especially when you're investing 4 mana into an aloe vera
Yeah,
that is sitting in just mountains.
yeah, that's very true. And also, I really like the Yismi effect, the Yismi hero that just puts the license withdrawal into reserve. That essentially currently doesn't really benefit them a lot since it needs boosted characters to do it, something, or needs a permanent, and both of them the Argent doesn't show at the moment. So currently pretty much a dead card, but putting this into your reserve of your Orders Trooper is quite nice because it doesn't really have a negative effect when you play it from reserve, since it would have been fleeting from hand anyway, and just getting a different card back for this super sweet. And we do just see the Akasha also passing on 2 mana, so they have nothing to do against these Inaris, and yeah, they just keep trading. But I do really feel like this should just favor the Akasha a lot, since there is
It should
most
favor the
likely
Akesha a lot, a
there's
bit, but when you look at the current situation, right, they are finishing the day with 2 mana open, so many cards in hand. I feel like it really feels like a loss that you had nothing to deal with this aloe vera. It will be resupplying now again as well. And where the Argent just a little bit ago was really kind of getting stuck on resources, is now fully back in this game. And look at the biomes that he's sitting in. I think he will do quite well
yeah.
with so many access to green.
Yeah, especially these Inaris on the expeditions on the companion side is looking super strong, and also so just being or in general spells being super amazing for Archons that don't have fleeting. Just play a spell, get the immediate benefit, and then just discard it to anchor anything from anything you play, or anything that's below 4 cost. Super sweet synergy, and I love these decks. And now also Isan Boshi solidifying the lead they have currently on the companion side, but there's that off you go that probably would have been very nice on the last turn.
Definitely, but I don't think they'll be very mournful, making sure that they cannot keep anchoring this aloe vera. So, better late than never. And the value of the Baba Yaga, I mean, it was so good that they had to ban it in Ordis. And I think it still holds so much power on the side of Ismir because it just does so much for you. Gets you through the early game and late game. The stats are not half bad for drawing a full card. I really enjoy seeing Baba Yaga getting the love that she deserves.
Yeah, early on in set one, we were often having the discussion of what version of Baba Yaga is the best. Is it the common? Is it the rare? And we oftentimes just ended up saying, well, you're not paying the rare tax on the Baba Yaga, and therefore it's just a bad card because the rare upgrade really makes it better. The two stats that it has over the common just make this card so much more impactful on the board, and yeah, it's really showing.
Yeah, when you played on a rare, it feels like a good play almost always. Even from reserve, it's a great play. The common one, yeah, you're saving up a rare slot, but which card at rare is going to outperform Baba Yaga? That's just a really tough ask. And
Yeah.
if you do choose to play her at common, it's got to be for a real proper reason. Now, the Scepter, when they coming out, shifting over these boosts, drawing another card
Oh,
for them, I
that's
will commend this Argent player for how they are managing their reserve. Another day where a lot of cards have been shifting left and right, and yet again, they will not be overflowing, making the absolute most out of the cards they have been dealt. And the way it's looking, they will not be advancing on one side, but they will be stopping their opponent. So another 1-for-1 day, and now these players can start threatening a double advance. They can start threatening the win. And then when you look how they are positioned and the way that Baba Yaga is now getting binned, makes me dread what must be in the hand of our Akasha player.
Yeah, and I could also see that there is potentially a hunger here available for the Akasha. There are likely a bunch of afteruse that the Akasha has. Any one-cost character, the Orders Trooper that's already in reserve, the hero abilities. So there's three potential afteruse before you play the hunger, and that could cost the Argent a ton of mana here. And especially going after that Muna Caregiver, that would be a slow play and not showing cards from hand. I could really imagine that that's kind of what they're going for here.
Yeah, and with the double resupply, you'll be hitting so many cards. Now, let's have a look. Will they go for the support ability on the unique Orders Trooper? If they do, I think it really gives a. The ends are still open, let's put it like that. If, however, they do not, the door on a hunger is shut. Common one is 9 mana,
Yeah.
rare one is 8. We often see the rare one being played. That extra mana, even this late in the game, can make such a big difference, despite it being only relatively less of a shift, right? But at this point in the game, and there you have it.
Yeah, no hunger
The
this
door
turn.
on hunger is closed.
Yeah, but still, there's at least one more off Hugo that's possible here for the Akasha. There's still so many tools, and Arjun already down to 3 mana. There's a great Chiron in reserve, but unfortunately this card doesn't really do anything if it's the only thing on the board, and it's into Akasha, so I feel like Arjun is digging for anything here, but I just don't see it yet for them, and Akasha needs one more character since the Trooper currently isn't advancing for them on the hero side, but other than that, it's looking pretty good here for the Akasha.
Yeah, it's a very precarious position to be in because currently it has to come from hand, and they will be playing a card from hand now, and it has to be rather magnificent. It is still very susceptible to the off you go, even from reserve.
Yeah, that's also how I feel, and especially and it can still just be returned with the Orders Trooper, and it's
That
just such a
and
good position.
after that as well, look how well equipped you are for the next day. This Akasha
Yeah.
is has so many cards, and there is the call out. GG has been called. Baba Yaga will enter the battlefield and bring an end to this very first match of the evening. Akasha representing Izmir, staying strong, keeping the course.
Yeah, and Flitz just continuing the dominance from the qualifier weekend, it seems. But yeah, so a really great showing, and yeah, this is definitely a way you can play Akasha, and it feels a bit like a Farnas, I'd say. There's also the Mage Dancer in, of course, that we've seen, and yeah, I really like this type of deck since I also haven't seen something like this before, and just the unique choice in this, I think it's great.
Yeah, I think really with the changes to Afanas, it has thrown it wide open in the hero category when you're playing Ismir. It has given a more distinct character to all the separate heroes, where Lendive is more is I think it's kind of showing its colors now that it can really play a lot more into the sacrifice angle, into just making Ismir more distinct instead of you have Afanas and you have worse Afanas and you have sacrifice Afanas. That is like
Yeah.
at no point did it feel good to run. Like it always felt like you're running a subpar choice. By making the adaptation that we have, I think it has given Ismir a lot more distinct character between their heroes. I think this match shows it.
Yeah. And if we still have time to jump into another one, and I'm currently looking at table 43. It's Yo. Oh yeah, it's Yo against Union Cheddar. I for some reason thought they're up against a different player, but yeah, it's Yo. He recently it wasn't an
Table
alter.
43.
Yeah. Is it
I'm jumping it.
Okay, yeah. Yo
Another
recently.
Akesha matchup
Yeah,
into
that's true.
Traced this time around.
And a Feast
And-
of Thoughts here in reserve already. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I will say this is an adaptation that we have seen coming through for the last, I'd say, 2 to 3 weeks, where Rare Anansi, the out of faction Rare Anansi, has been seeing so much love. Before we only saw the uniques enter the deck, that was quite dominant. But now people realizing that sometimes you just need a big bucket of gasoline embodied by Anansi.
Yeah. And I feel like here also an interesting choice by the Akesha exhausting the Amelia. The Amelia that is not playable for now, but as soon as the Vike hits the board, it is playable again. It might be here followed up by an Off He Goes, so there's the value out of these is the Vike isn't possible. But this definitely at first looks like an odd play, but can be answered by specific things when played from hand. But we do see the Feast of Thoughts here. I always forget what the different options on this one are. And it is a Sabotage and I think a bunch of moths that are possible to spawn here. And with 5 counters you get to pick 6 cards, 6 of these options. So it tries to match the hero side stats, but there are still two cards left and 3 untapped mana here for the traced side.
Yeah,
which makes me feel like
will do it.
Yeah. Also,
and Amuna Merchant does too.
Yeah, absolutely. And a sweet one at that. 3 cost, no condition resupply. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very nifty. And that is just the absolute devastation that a Traced playing on tempo can put down. And I will say, if you look into their little discard pile, you can just see what kind of gas they were drawing. Just such a low curve, able to stall out the Akesha player, and that really hurts the Akesha. When she's being outstalled, she can't make those efficient plays that she has to be making, and that is really the weak spot in Akesha, is when she's playing against Axiom, when she's playing against Lyra, decks that are able to outstall. She absolutely shines against more Bravos matchups, but this is really where she can falter.
Yeah. And we with that can most likely jump into another game, still in round 1. There are still some games to be played.
Let's do it.
And
just a little announcement in general. I think from the next round on, we'll be in there from moment 1. I am looking to do like cover 1 or 2 games, and
Sure.
after that, if the round is still going, maybe go to like a short little 2-3 minute break.
sure. We can do that.
Also to give our voices a little rest, so that we can stay energetic throughout the entire evening.
Sure,
I think that is a proper trade-off.
Yeah, sure.
Let's have a little look what is still out there. Who is still playing?
I'm
table 7.
Sure. I'm seeing that Chocobar, one of my favorite players, is also playing in this. And yeah.
Yeah. Table 7 is currently featuring a Atsadi mirror matchup. And they are far away from crowning a victor.
This is actually a matchup I really enjoy.
It's a Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
And hungers are coming down left and right. It is madness.
Yeah, 1 hunger on the board and still five other cards in play. So
Yeah,
how did that happen?
What is it? 6, 14, 16 mana in play, and look at these mana bars on the left. 18 mana against 21. 21 mana. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. And I feel like this might just be a 2-0 here for Wigman on the bottom. Atsari, and yeah, gets the double advance plus the setback of the Sakurabu. So really great showing. And you mentioned the mana bars. I've definitely seen more mana on a different game. It might have been 30 mana plus for each player. Not one player didn't mana willingly. It was just put into their mana zone. But yeah,
man, it is madness to see it like this. And I mean, there is a certain point where if you're at, let's say, like 20 plus mana and you still can't win, then maybe you got to tweak your deck a little bit to take advantage of it. But man, this Atsari, and we are talking about our bottom Atsari, who is on 8 counters, is running this show, a fistful of hands with the Arcolano Milk still ready to go.
I'm surprised seeing that these players are still manning at this mana count. It is quite impressive to see. But yeah, playing on 22 mana, or how much mana is this bottom Atsali on? We can't even see it. Plays another hunger here from hand from Ladasiem. I'm not too sure how to pronounce these names. Usually I'm not trying to pronounce players' names because I say I'll just get it wrong anyway. But this time I am trying.
Dread it. Another Arcolano Milk coming through. Just the Haven Syringar now, but you are just dreading.
Oh,
another hunger coming down.
That Kaibara helps for now, but if there's a hunger, everything is gone and it is fleeting, so needs to draw into, what is it? Mana Eruption here, so that's
Mana Eruption.
That's the only out, but even then, there are still 2 more cards left, and definitely enough mana.
So far down.
Yeah.
10 counters on the Atsari. Plenty of absolute edge cases finding their way into this match. But in the end, Wigman will turn up victorious, as he will be, make what looks like to be a 2-0 day. There's the pass, and that will be the end of this match. And surely the end of this first round.
I'm not quite sure. So the BGI timer usually, I think it is 30-minute rounds, but BGI just adds 5 minutes on top for some reason. So it's 35-minute rounds, and this round could still go on 10 more minutes before we'll go into round 2. But let's see how many tables we actually still have left.
All right. Every table that we'll be going into now will be shamed by me.
Perfect. So you're also...
I'm sorry, but if 2 Atsadi players who both were 20 plus mana can finish a game before you,
I think
they deserve some light roughing. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I'd love to go over to table 9, Overloss against Popiet, and if I'm not mistaken, it will probably be traced into Gulrang, but no, it's Atsadi into Gulrang. And yeah, those are also 2 very slow, or can be very slow heroes, and it's again an Atsadi that has how much mana? I can't see it, so yeah. It is great. He
has 15 open after already playing 3 cards, so there is that.
And all were fleeting, so either there has been anything that has stuck around from the last turn, or probably just put into reserve with the header. That could also be. No, I'm not sure how there are 3 fleeting cards on the side of the Atsadi.
A single step left to take for our Atsadi player, and still this much mana left open. You're just dreading another hunger. We see a Kaibara, and there's just a Kaibara in the discard pile. So there is definitely a hunger lurking around somewhere, and with only 9 cards left in his deck, you can bet your bottom dollar that there is a very good chance. No, he will be passing, and this surprises me quite a bit. He will forfeit this day.
And now it's...
just realizing he cannot match the absolute madness that these uniques are pumping out.
Yeah,
especially on 12 mana for the Gulrang.
There are some incredible uniques here on Overloss's side. There's one gatekeeper that essentially has a whenever a character joins or whenever a non-token character joins, put a card from your hand in reserve to spawn 2 tokens on my side. And then there's this beautiful Silas that just draws your card whenever a character joins the expeditions. So this will most likely just draw the entire deck here for Overloss. And then they are just pretty much set for the rest of the game and can try to play this out. So a really, really sweet setup of uniques. And I personally do know these draw uniques for Orders quite well as well. I prefer them on bureaucrats and playing them in Varu, but I've definitely seen more players play them in Gulrang and just try to draw their entire deck in Gulrang with these 2/2 tokens. But I'm making it work in Varu and playing a little bit of a different list. But
the consistency when you do get these pieces down is extremely high, especially when you do have those Scrooges in reserve. You can just sleep those scary uniques that are already overpowering your lane.
Yeah.
So that will be no match whatsoever. However, even when the Asadi does play a Hunger at this point, what does it even do? Because it will go to discard, but they'll just draw them all back again. And when they have this much mana at their disposal, it feels like an absolute lock on the game.
Yeah, especially for... I think Hunger might still be a big problem since it just resets the entire board and also the uniques. And I think kind of with this setup, you really want your uniques or you want a big reserve to benefit with... What's the card? With the... That summons a token for each card in your reserve.
Oh, Propaganda? Something like that.
I'm not quite sure. I forgot the name, but Hypothermia just keeps the Silas around. A great card, and I'm also a big fan of Hypothermia, of course. Just sleep everything. It's great.
Yeah, I can't let this slip. I have to look this up. So I will be looking up the summon cards. It's to submit.
The Atsadi still doesn't have enough mana.
Conscription.
Oh yeah, conscription. Yeah, exactly.
But there's a big old propaganda poster on it. Right?
Yeah, that's true. That is on there.
I mean, an advertisement. No propaganda here in Orders. It is free market.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do feel like if there's... Even with Hunger, as you mentioned, now it probably just still looks pretty good for the Gurung side just because they have 11 cards in hand. And,
however, they have the cards in hand, but if they're to be discarded, right? There's only 4 and there's 9 cards in their discard pile. They have plenty of the draw spells up in hand. That is kind of the one issue for decks that draw their entire deck. They'll just draw the cards they need again.
Yeah.
It's discarded.
It's great.
That is no obstacle for us. And there is this tip-in point in these Gulrang decks that we may have achieved already.
Yeah. And also, if there's the Hunger, there's not much cards left in the Atsadi's hand. They can just play the Serengar, discard it, and just draw a card off of it as well. But yeah, looking at the mana count, now we can see it again. It's a 26 total mana here for the Atsadi.
Yeah,
it is crazy. Double the mana count of the Gurung, and yeah. Gulrang probably wishes they also have some type of ramp just so they get their hero ability so that the tokens lose defender earlier in the game, but they one player ramps mana, the other just draws cards. So
yeah, and there has been a soft forfeit already by our Atsadi player in chat, stating they're just trying to get every single card of their deck in their mana pool. But even that may not be allowed as this Gulrang is ramping up for another 2-0 day. And just look at that, 13 cards in hand. This engine is a purring.
Yeah, some great uniques. I do really like them, and we do also see the Monolith Legate that I do strongly believe with the... no, it needs to be a different setup, but there's technically a chance that these Monolith Legates could, with the supportability, just be infinite tokens, but you need very specific uniques for that. You need whenever a character joins expeditions, put a card from your hand from your hand to your reserve to draw a card, and then you could technically go infinite with the Legates because they discard themselves, create a token, then you draw a card, and basically I think you need 2 legates, but yeah, there's a combo that you can just draw and make tokens forever.
Yeah,
and it's
at
quite
a
fun.
certain point, you've been got dead to rights, and I think that moment has been passed about 2 minutes ago. However, our players are holding on for dear life. How futile it may be, as this Gurung player is putting, lock on lock on lock into this game. And I think we will be witnessing our very last few turns in this match.
I do strongly believe not even a Hunger could save it here, because the Hunger is just getting license withdrawal, and Gurung plays any character.
They still have 7 mana. It is absolutely ridiculous. They're still up against 7 mana from the Gurung player. They just have all the answers. They have everything they want, and then some. They have no more deck, by the way. So they can't even draw cards because their discard pile is empty too. This one is all done. And it doesn't matter how many gigantic cards you have. Nothing is prepared for the absolute nightmare that this combo can be.
Pop yet doesn't even go for the 30 mana total with the At Dusk trigger of the header. But getting 30 cards into your mana zone in general, just a crazy feat without making infinite mana, which I definitely have never tried before. No.
And with that, the round is surely over now.
I mean, 2 more minutes technically, but let's see. No, we are still in round 1.
Who do I need to look at?
I think it's just table 20 at this point.
Table 20?
Yeah.
You should feel bad.
Yeah. Let's see what they are playing.
Shame!
They are just still players. It's Tej against Nevenka.
Yeah, there's one player that has been that is 4 minutes into overtime. We are very, very close to resolution.
Oh, but there is a sweet deck. There are some sweet uniques in this Nevenka deck.
I mean, first of all, currently props to Chloe over here for not just running the timer and scooping up a win like that. You know, we love to see some sportsman-like play. However, at a certain point, I will say, you know, managing your time in a tournament is also, you know, a skill that is part of the game.
Yeah.
So if we do see a last-minute resort towards something like that, you know, do not blame these players for it. They are playing in the tournament. We are still playing for tickets into the Invitational of the AWOL. So, you know, everything left to play for.
Yeah. Actually, when is the Invitational taking place? It is one of these upcoming weekends, right? I believe
it is, yeah.
It is the pre-release
weekend. It is the pre-release weekend.
I do think so, yeah. I think I've seen some people write that it's on the same weekend where the cards are probably released on BJ, but we are not sure.
Well, that would be absolute madness if it is.
Yeah.
I'll be very honest on that one.
Yeah.
That would be absolute madness if it is, you know.
And there's the timeout.
Yeah.
And it was destined to happen with the time being this low. So yeah, we can now definitely jump into round 2.
Now for sure. 3rd time.
Do you have a table that you want to look at?
It's particularly charming. Not particularly. Let me see what the tables are looking like currently. That will be our leading factor as the rounds are posted. Now it's going to take a little bit before all these players are seeded. I think I would like to keep track of some of these Ordis decks today, because I think it should really be known that Ismir, pardon me, that Ismir is still alive and kicking and very capable of putting up proper results. I think that can be our little subplot for today. I think that's nice and exciting. So if you have found one of those, you can shoot me the table number and we'll set that right up.
You said you wanted Ismir, right? So I just have that on record. So table 25 is definitely a Ismir player. Is only Ismir player that doesn't play any decks that maybe the community doesn't like too much, but it's a great Ismir player, and yeah, I like their lists a lot. No matter what type of deck they're playing, of course, for anyone that already saw the stream, it is Chocobar, and yeah, one of my personally favorite players.
Well,
and Cole Orient chat going no. Cole probably knows what we will be expecting here, but there is potential. Chocobar isn't only playing hostage decks; he's also running some fun Afanas decks that have resupply loops, and yeah, I'm not sure what they're on today, but I'm definitely excited.
Well, let's figure it out and see what is being preferred by our Izmir sommeliers, so to speak. As I see, we are in game.
Oh, and
hooray!
And we even have two of the Izmir heroes. Yeah.
Very good stuff here. Akesha into Lindiwe, as Akesha is already stocking up on those cards in the early game.
Yeah, and I think I know who I would favor in this matchup. It is probably the Lindiwe, since I do think that is just a hero that is kind of good into Akesha, and especially getting a 2-0 start into what I assume here is an hostage Akesha is pretty good. So they are just trying to out-tempo them. And why?
Rune, can you elaborate on that? Why do you favor Lindiwe in this matchup?
The simple answer is, for me, Lindiwe has a ton of card draw since it's a Yizmi hero and does have access to Boom, which can discard any permanents from the Akesha side. And they just should keep any single Boom they find and just shoot any permanent they see as soon as it's played. So I'm really pretty much expecting stages. I'm expecting either shots or category bastions here from Chocobar's side. And whatever it is, you probably should shoot it instantly with a Boom, since otherwise that card can just win the game on the spot. And yeah, that's what I think is the big strength of this deck. Any permanent is just able to win the game, but it needs a permanent.
Now, most Lindiwes don't run 3 Booms, if I believe correctly, usually hovering around 2. Now, when we fail to find our Booms, let's say both of them are on the bottom of our deck, what is our backup plan here?
Then probably like the Lindiwe is doing just right now, trying to play as aggressive as possible and try to go as fast as possible. And getting 3 expeditions first 2 days for Lindiwe, pretty good. And yeah. Also, I do strongly think that the either shard that you usually want to play on turn 3 isn't as good when your opponent already has 3 expeditions. So Lindiwe for me is in a great shape here. And the Akesha should really feel threatened to play any shards out here at this point. But also it's quite awkward for the Lindiwe, since if they just go full tempo, they really run out of cards really quickly, and that's also giving the Akesha a way back into the game by just having way more cards and being easily able to stall out the game.
Yeah, and I think with the Lindiwe, we do see more of a focus now and then, or a reliance on these landmarks, on specific cards sticking around a little longer. We're talking about lanterns, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, probably lanterns and Eastpass.
Devastation that a hunger can wreak upon them can never be underestimated. But the way the tempo of this match has been going, it's gonna be a real question if they'll even reach that point.
Yeah, and I do strongly think that in this matchup this probably is a matchup where the Lindiwe plays different than in any other matchup, since I do strongly think that the Babas Isbars and also the Moth Lanterns aren't really useful in this matchup, since you're just going for full tempo and you just look to you don't really need strong characters, you just need any characters. Therefore you don't need insane sacrifices to get a bunch of stats. You just need characters in the expeditions to advance, and that's the Nurse is doing that. Gets the sacrifice, gets a draw, and that's one of the strengths. I think this deck is good into Akesha, just because it can draw a lot of cards and just play for 2 different lines. It's on the Tumult or it's just discarding the permanents.
Yeah, it is doing everything and then some that is required by our Lindiwe player. Now, since this 2-0 day from Lindiwe, to kickstart the engine of Akesha, they have been keeping up.
Yeah.
They have been going
That's
one
important.
for one. They have been going even. And now the resources are very slowly starting to dry up. Just a little bit. Now they do have, of course, the Moonlight Jellyfish in reserve. But Akesha can now really try and find those efficient answers. And if they do find them, then it might be quite tricky for the Lindiwe to really give this match the final push. And then suddenly, 3 more steps can feel like miles away.
Yeah, and I've seen some players, especially in the last week's AWOL, that for some reason play small step giant leaps in lists that usually don't rely on small step giant leap at all, and just play that because someone, Shokobar, told them to play that in any Ismir deck, because it's still good into some decks that are Gururang, where you just can't get the last expedition, into decks like the hostage lists that just celebrate and you can't advance through characters and need small steps, or also probably into Atsadis, but they might be a bit more tricky with the Sakurabrus.
Yeah, we're looking at an Akesha that is great at finding those efficient answers, at stalling the game to a certain degree, and I think with what has been forecast in our spoilers thus far, that they might be getting some extra fun little tools. Are there any cards that you are already foaming at the mouth at, where you can't wait to implement them yourself into an Ismir deck?
Sakurabrus Fury, absolutely. That card looks ridiculously good to me. It is.
So for the people not in the know, can you explain what it does?
So Sakurabrus Fury is just like the character that we already know, is a Sakurabrus spell that just has at common it has the text target expedition moves backward 1 region and is a 5-cost spell that has fleeting. So you can play this technically together with Moyo and get a 2/2 Moth as well. So it's in our team we've memed that it's a 5 mana unique easy talk on a common slot. So we do think that card is pretty solid. At rare, it's costing a lot more. It's an 8 cost then, but also empties that expedition totally. So there are any characters that's in there is just gone, like the Blizzard effect. And
that is a lot, but it is so tough for a rare card to compete with a common when the common is already that solid. It really feels like like the extra gains that you're getting are marginal, and especially in this position. And whilst we're discussing this, Akesha is furthering her choking grasp onto this match. 1 mana Rime Frost into an After You from Akesha herself, and this is where Lindiwe starts to struggle. Because there's a little sacrifice after you. You can play it afterwards. So the tools are there to keep up a little bit, but the cards in hand are starting to dwindle.
Yeah, and we do already here see the 3rd Moonlight Jellyfish. I could imagine this just being sacrificed twice, maybe with the Isba and hopefully a Gift of Self. I think that's desperately needed here at this spot. And I do really think the Akesha... So at this point, the Akesha's game plan is probably have some 0-cost uniques in hand, have this Lyra Scald in reserve that's technically 1 mana cheat as well, since it discards anything, not just spells. And then just slow play as long as possible, so the Lindiwe runs out of cards. You can play your Kalige Bastion, play your Celebration Day, and then just be happy that you can hopefully play Celebration Day twice in a row for 0 cost.
Yeah, for instance, and do not overlook the fact that this Rime Frost can still be played from reserve for 1 mana as well, if you do discard the Lyra Scald. So if the Moonlight Jellyfish does get sacrificed right now, it'll most likely just be exhausted as well, and that is another resource lost. It's another little After You for the Akesha, and this can be such a frustrating matchup to play if Akesha gets up to this point.
Yeah, and actually since this is a bit of a different Akesha list, I think this is quite a good setup for them. We do see another unique keyword here that is a Dusk sacrificing, so the Akesha, the Lindiwe can get two sacrifices for the more here with the Isba and the keyword sacrifice on the Jellyfish. So that would also mean another draw for them, and that's probably what we're seeing here. And also the next card they play this afternoon costs 1 less.
Ooh,
and there's that Moth in the Dun that we've been talking about.
This is quite the investment from the side of our Lindiwe player.
Yeah.
You have fully committed to one side. You're pretty much freely giving up your companion expedition, so it's another 1-for-1. Yeah, you'll be threatening a game win at that point.
But there's one card. Oh. There's one card here for Akasha that just starts the game and probably makes them run, and it's most likely BB Sleep.
BB Sleep. It could be, yeah. What answer is there? And then you'll be waking up tomorrow with a lovely little maw and a second one next to it, and so many ways to sacrifice from your deck. So that is really something. Chocobar not drawing the cards that they were looking for, and Lindiva is scraping in that little tempo play that they were looking for.
I do strongly believe this is in Chocobar's favor here. There's nothing the Akasha, so the Lindery doesn't have cards left they can play. There's the Beauty Sleep, and next turn there are likely just 2 slow plays, and then the Category, I hope. But maybe there's just no uniques in the hand here for Chocobar, and they really need at least one unique. They need the Category Bastion, and they need Celebration Day.
That is a lot of requirements. The margins are 0. Akasha will not be online, and Lindiva will be.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to see some very ingenuitive plays from the side of our Akasha underdog currently, because Lindiva is threatening in such a dominant position. However, is it too early? Because they will be going to 8 mana, so that is a single Celebration Day.
Yeah, that's possible.
And the resources are dwindling on the side of Lindiva, so you will have to ask yourself, what will I be keeping? And it looks like they are prioritizing lower costed, more high power plays. They have enough triggers to be very overpowering, but you are committing now to a style that will be running lower and lower on those resources.
And if it's me now, I am just slamming that category first play on the Akasha side. I do not care if my opponent draws into boom. I'm saying that is so low risk. And Chocobar goes for the exact same line, and hopefully Lindry draws into the boom here, but if not, it is...
They have drawn half their deck.
It is looking rough. They have drawn 2 cards, and nothing has stuck around in hand from the last turn, so it really comes down to the top decks here.
Yeah, and there we have the frustrated messages coming out in chat, knowing what is about to happen next. Yeah. All you can do is sit and pray and hope that it will be better. And that is a slight little misplay, not putting down a second token first. They will be missing out on a little bit, but does it really matter when your opponent is playing a free Celebration Day?
It doesn't. They're just most likely looking to draw the boom of the jellyfish. If they are not, this Celebration Day is just 0 mana played again, and then the Akasha will also get 2 draws of Conjuring Seal that's already in reserve, and hopefully has more draw in hand. So this is just for my experience, it's looking fully over, but maybe Aislinn can still find a way back into the game. But from my experience, this is looking super locked up by the Akasha already.
Yeah, and it shouldn't have come a second later than it did, because the margins, like we said, are none. Now, with Akasha becoming first player, that Celebration Day will be hitting the tables once again. And for the Lindiva, you're just kind of sitting on your hands, but look how deep Akasha has already drawn herself, and we haven't even seen a single unique hit the board.
Yeah, and the uniques here for Chocobar are usually just uniques that want to slow play on an 8 mana, so you can just play your category without a risk of it being discarded. So we might not even see the uniques being played yet out, since that Bastion is already in play and there's no need to play a second one. But you might just play a second one because you likely have them in hand at some point, and yeah. I do really love this deck. The Lindery now starts digging through their deck, and we also can take a quick look at the time here. Aislinn spent 11 minutes already off their clock, while Chocobar only spent 4, so a combined total time of 60 minutes, 50 minutes spent. But yeah, it's not evenly distributed at all, the time spent so far.
No, I mean, you can tell that Chocobar is very well adept at playing this deck, knows it inside and out. And I mean, can you imagine a Kesha in this form, in this list, being played the way it is right now 2 months ago? When all we saw was Sigismar and Afanas and Sigismar and Afanas, and now a deck like this coming to bloom, coming to fruition, and keeping up with a pretty highly ranked deck like Lindio. We have seen it get multiple high tournament results. I mean, what an absolute shift in the meta that we are going through right now.
Yeah, I do strongly believe the Sigismar matchup is probably just the hardest one that this Akasha deck can face. So in the Sigismar meta, this isn't a great deck, but in an Afanis meta, therefore, I think it is great because Afanis doesn't run any removals for the Caddy Gears. And in an Afanis meta, I love this deck. That's also one of the reasons I initially played my Varu deck, because that deck just completely farmed the Afanis players because they didn't have any removals, didn't have any answers into my E-stocks or my Jari uniques. And yeah, they just won the game for free. It was a great time. But now Tracer is the same. They don't run any removals, and you just lock the game up, and they can't do anything anymore. So if you need some counters to Trace, just play these types of decks. They do work quite well.
Yeah, and it is good. It is good that these decks exist. You might not like that these lock decks are around, but look at it from this way. The fact that these decks exist forces these engine decks to be more flexible, to run more interaction.
Yeah.
Because when these decks start to become more prevalent in their matchups, and you know the win rates are a drop in, then it is just so important that you are shaking up your opponent's deck a bit, that you are keeping your opponent on your toes to force them to not play the same thing over and over again, to let them know. And there is one boom, but I'm afraid that is very little, very late currently as we are speaking, and with 6 mana for the Akasha still. But here's the thing, there has to only be a single day for Akasha where it doesn't go her way, and I will say those chances are dwindling quite a lot as she is continuously going through her deck as we are getting later and later into the match. Oh, but a second boom coming out now.
Okay, yeah. I mean, now there are definitely hopes here for the Lindway. Now that there's only... It really depends on how many cards the Akasha can draw this turn, but it's actually a good spot now for the Lindway. Both categories being gone, no more one celebration day left. But can
one
loop the deck
celebration
next
day
turn.
left, and after this, if they do get through their entire deck, that is quite a lot of cards to dig through before you are guaranteed to get your celebration days again. Yeah, you'll have maybe 1 or 2 more draws, so you will be shuffling the discard pile. But with a bit of tough luck, it's going to take another 4 cards to get to a celebration day.
Yeah,
And the margins, you can't give up a single expedition or this Lindiwa will walk.
Yeah, so I do strongly think there's still 1 Conjuring Seal left in Akasha's hands, so they do go to 0 cards in deck and then draw 2 more at the start of next turn. So there are...
And one of them would be
15 cards. Just place a third bastion. Yeah, sure. Now both booms are gone. You can still just play the third bastion. Sure. Yeah, that's totally working fine. Yeah. And also in chat now.
Intended.
Now in chat, just in training. hello. And yeah, of course, Dutch-German collaboration here is working quite well.
Yeah, I am enjoying my time here greatly, and I am very thankful for all the insights that you are giving us into this matchup of the Akasha. It's a deck that I personally have not encountered before. I've heard tales being told by grandmas to their children, scaring them to go on bed on time, or they might run into the Akasha jail. But it's actually quite wonderful to see it in action.
Yeah, I love this deck so much. It's so fun. But at some point, it really feels like the game is over. And what I made top card this weekend, and what I really enjoyed, the games I won, my opponents just, as soon as I played one celebration day, they recognized, yeah, the game is over, let's go to another one. That usually doesn't happen on ladder, but I really enjoyed that it did on top card. And we just played until I drew my entire deck, and then ran to the next game, because they knew the game is locked up.
there's always that 0.1, that 1% chance that you will misplay.
No, there's not. As soon as I have my entire deck in hand, there's no way I can misplay. So, yeah.
I mean, maybe you're just that good, but I mean, as a player who loves the game, human factor can never be underestimated. And also, just make him show it. Show him that you have it. There's one thing, when you give up, your loss is guaranteed. But when you are sticking it out till the end, then it's always your opponent that you're forced to show it. And if they have it, they have it. But this is what the game is all about. Playing it till the very end.
Yeah. And a lot of players do just play to the very end and make sure that the game is actually not winnable for them. But I can ensure that the game is usually over when the Akasha player decides that it's over.
Yeah, and we are entering that point where, we already have gone through our discard pile once again, and we're about to do it once more. And with this completely locked up, but you can taste it. You can taste the win as a Lindy. It's only one step, and you're really pounding yourself in the head that you're not playing small steps.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very happy about that nerf, because that was also one of the big weaknesses to that deck. Of course, is just small step, and now that no one is playing the card anymore, even one more of the bigger threats to this deck is just gone. So that was probably the biggest buff to this deck so far, that small step just was changed, and no one is ever playing the card anymore.
Yeah, the only decks that are still playing it are these Afanas resupply chains, or these resupply decks, whether it's Afanas or Akesha, by just spamming out the resupplies and eventually just being able to endlessly change small steps after one another. Yeah. But even that, I just have to question the validity of those types of decks in a real life environment, right? When you are playing against the clock, and let's be real, a lot of these events are not playing with chess clocks, and even though that it works in BGA right now, I think they are exploitable when it comes to playing these events in real life. And why I am personally a fan, especially at these top cuts, at these larger events, to introduce chess clocks, just to prevent players griefing these types of strategies by just stalling out right now, taking the time to think about the turn, and then when it goes into overtime, they will be ahead in expeditions and win it like that. So I am curious how tournament organizers will deal with that situation when it comes to real life play. What are your thoughts, Keelan?
Rune, I do. I talked through with Pierre and Cedric a bit about this type of deck in Essen, and
Pierre and Cedric, for those who are not in the know, who are Pierre and Cedric?
Pierre is one of the game designers that works on design on creating cards, and Cedric is the organized play director from Equinox. That is, I think, mostly responsible for Worlds taking place. But I'm not too sure on what exactly he's doing. But
people who care and are invested in real life events running well.
Yeah. That's it. And I asked them about my deck, and if they've seen the Varu, especially the Varu list, since I think the Akasha one is a bit more known. And they said that they knew that Celebration Day is a very strong card, is a card that probably you will see niche play, but they didn't expect it to be used in such a way as I'm and also Shokuba's using it, that it's just played every day and locks up the game for strategies like that. They said that isn't planned, but they are also not too worried about them yet. So
not too worried. And like I said, there is this little disconnect between the decks that you'll see in person and the decks that you will see on BGA. I mean, we saw it before with this auto clicker on Waru, right? Where you can just lock it up and you will always have more time than your opponent and get through it like that. But yeah, I'm very curious what the longevity of it will be, and if we will see any rendition of this being run at the World Championship, now that the World Championships are just a little over a month away.
I will definitely try and play. So I think there are two on the last chance qualifier day. I think there are two tournaments that you can play in, and I will be in Paris, and I think I will probably be in one of the tournaments. Will try one of my Akasha decks. So yeah.
Very, very interesting.
And I already have a strategy that I want to go for, but I'm not spoiling everything
Yeah,
yet.
keep it under wraps for the moment being. But yeah, I'm very curious. And your personal idea about chess clocks being introduced?
Yeah, I love that idea. Just people slow playing. Yeah, I don't like it. That's also so I've seen a lot of people be very happy for Trickster, especially winning yesterday's
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yesterday's
what a deserving
qualifier.
player.
Yeah, for me, I personally don't like Trickster's play style in general, but yeah, it's still
Sure.
one of the players that has been there for the very beginning, great content creator, and yeah, it's cool to see them qualify, but I personally just don't like that they slow play as much, and yeah, I have one personal game that I will always remember against Trickster. It was in Colos still in chat. It was on Ace, and I played. It was Festival Fen against him on Afanas, and he was like 7 minutes in overtime. I didn't need to do anything and would have just won the game. And at some point, I just wanted to win with Festival because I was winning on board, and I even showed him the cards how I can win the game, and he just still kept on slow playing and got timeouted, and then asked me if I had the win, even while I showed him how I would have won. So yeah, that was to me that was a crazy experience. But yeah.
Well, you will have a personal choice for revenge if you do make it to the last chance
I will.
qualifiers. There will be 2 events being played on the Friday, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Quite a draining weekend if you are playing completely till the end, which I'm sure you will.
Yeah, sure, definitely. And Kern mentioning in chat, me and Shoguban 2v2 will be war crimes. Yeah, absolutely.
I was considering banning them for that, for hate speech. That was.
yeah.
Now, as much fun as I'm having, I am proposing to abandon this game.
Yeah, sure. We
go
can.
to a different table. I think we have seen what this deck can do,
Yeah, sure.
and I am yearning for some action.
Yeah, sure.
How does that sound to you?
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that.
And let's be real, we'll probably be here still when the round is about to end.
Yeah.
So I'll have a little looky-loo. Is there any table that springs to mind in yours?
No, not particular.
All right, then I'm just gonna. Oh, a lot of these are already finished.
Yeah.
Is this the last? I think it might be the last match that is actually going on.
No, they are still.
It's table 36. Table 36. Hermes against Show and Cracker. That is a name I will be trying to avoid as much as I can. Now, this is a Ghoul Rank into Fan matchup, and it is close, but with Mesektat being on the board and 18 counter on the town square, it is looking quite precarious, but this Fan still has plenty of mana to be rolling with. So what is the way out here? Because currently it is looking quite precarious if you are an Lyra enjoyer.
Oh, what's the way out? That's a good question.
I mean, you have plenty of mana, so there are definitely options.
Yeah, there are options. What are the uniques here? So we are seeing only one card on reserve, so they just reshuffled, and it's draw uniques. So just keep on playing Daedalus. Actually, only one card
just
left.
Stalling, waiting till they can play the bigger Daedalus in hand. That will definitely win them the expedition on one side. And there will be dropping some more boosts over. So they really have to come up with like a big booming play, but they have 2 discounts in reserve.
Yeah, that's the important part probably. Oh yeah, Anansi. I forgot about that card. Yeah, but that can definitely win.
What an absolute clutch! Getting the Daedalus in right now.
And another one.
Another Anansi.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's doing it.
That is a satisfying way to win, is it not?
Yeah, just double Anansi just feels so good. And I think that's also why a lot of fan players have decided to play uniques that basically have Anansi effect without being Anansi themselves. And those are great. But I do also like different strategies like picking up cards or anchoring stuff for fan. I think there are a lot of very viable uniques for fan. And yeah, it's just cool to see a hero that has so much variety on how you can play it. It's super cool.
Yeah, definitely. I am personally a fan hater. That is my.
Okay, yeah.
No, hear me out. Because I think the control that you are giving up in Fen, especially juggling Fen, right? There are many ways to play Fen, but the juggle Fen is like a an iteration of just bouncing cards from your reserve back to your hand and getting value from it like that. Putting cards in reserve that will get value there, anchoring or being discounts. I think it's just when you play 100 games, I think at least like 10 of those games, you'll just be so frustrated that the cards that you're needing are either not hitting in hand or are entering your reserve. Meanwhile, all of the marbles, who also has qualified themselves for the Altered World Championship, plays a similar iteration in the Venka, and that is something I have been so glad to see it work. It juggles with their uniques, it does all the similar things to Fen, but you keep complete control of which cards are entering your mana zone, whilst also giving you control over, you don't have control over the dice rolls, but you can always choose when to do it, giving you control in that way. And I am so glad, and I really hope they'll be running that iteration at the World Championship, but with the new set dropping, who knows what they'll be packing.
Yeah, and Marbles is also one of the players that's known for a lot of different decks. Has, what is it? I believe Azadi, Fen, Fen in the Venka. There are a ton of decks that Marbles is playing, and is probably one of the players that's very prepared for the Conquest already. So that's super exciting to see them. And at this point, I think this Chocobar game is now the last game on this round, and I do think that I have the suspicion that there either might not be small steps in this list at all, or they're just all mana'd. And I do strongly believe that Chocobar is running one small step Giant Leap max in their list, so yeah, might very well be mana'd.
It's not common at all in the Lindiva lists. If it were, then it would definitely be like a counter tech. So
no, I think it might not even be in the Akasha's list here. It's just mana.
Yeah, we have about 40 seconds left.
Yeah.
Until this game will be forced to close. For those people curious who are, why does BJ give us 5 minutes extra? It's for loading into the match. Especially with these larger tournaments we saw at the qualifiers. Sometimes the servers need a few extra minutes to put everyone at their table. So to make sure that the loss of time there is not truly affecting the gameplay, there's a little extra time on the 30 minutes.
The NA qualifier was very unfortunate with that one, but I think that was I heard that was not only BJ's side but maybe also Equinox side, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, that first round in the NA qualifier was very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, that was it's just not the way to see it go. I don't want to get stuck on it too much because it's such a unfortunate turn of events. End of the day, we're still in the first year, right? The allocations on BJ, and we're still finding the way of things, so to speak. And I think definitely as time goes on, those occurrences will be less frequent and less frequent.
Yeah. And also, I think there's now 3 weekends in a row where there are bigger tournaments on the weekends. I think there were 2 World Championship qualifiers, and I think this weekend coming up there's again the demo deck event for then Skybound Odyssey.
Yeah, definitely. And I believe there are still spots available.
Oh,
so if people are interested in getting to play with the new cards as early as can legally be, I definitely recommend snatching a spot if you are intending to play.
I should maybe do that as well myself. Yeah, that's a good call out.
A call to action that even applies to our very own casters themselves. Yeah. Now, sweet release coming through as
finally
chat is running rampant with opinions. Let's get out of there before that infects our minds, as the 3rd round will be going underway right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have a lucky number,
Rune? 8.
Lucky number 8 is Skeleton Joke taking it up against KNP Thaco.
Yeah.
Very
curious,
very
play. I'm not sure where they're from, but it's of course also a French team, and I do believe.
Yeah, quite. And look at this. Look at the absolute power mismatch currently going on, but it's at table 8. So Elo can be quite, let's put it like this, not always be a true representation of skill level, as it is, of course, affected by normal games and tester games as well. So even though the ELO levels might paint a quite skewed picture, do not be underestimating this skeleton joke.
I will leave you alone for a short minute because I will get me something to drink. So yeah.
Yeah, go.
I'll be
go and do that, and then I'll get to gossip about you in chat.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, Justin in chat, guys. While Rune is gone, we can bond a little bit one-on-one, get to know each other a little better. I'm over here, you guys are over there. How was your weekend? How are you guys doing? As we are gearing up for an Arok into Kojo, that is gonna be quite exciting, especially so high up in the numbers. Excitement all around. Kojo not going first, so that will that is the first little coin flip that you'll be sad to see that you're missing out on. We have played already. Oh, please remind me. We have played already. Where have we played? I'm so curious. Yeah, there is quite a bit of delay, so these messages might be going back and forth a little bit. Might take a little bit for us to strike up that proper conversation, but I'm sure there's a real connection here between us. So I believe in us. Ooh, in Germany. Oh, right. Yeah, I believe you were on Afanas, right? That was very, very close. I think it was one of the closest matches I played. With me,
I
mess up my mana in that round? I think if we can pin it on that, but it might have been the round afterwards. Played a lot of Afanases in that event.
Oh, you played just in training in Essen?
Yeah, I according to Justin, I did, and I believe him fully because Justin is my dear friend that I remember very well.
Yeah, I think
Oh, there it is. My memory has been jogged, and that was a lovely match. That was I enjoyed that very much. It was, as is tradition, Sigismund to Afanas. It was very exciting. I don't think I'll be playing the World Championship, so I'm totally fine just giving it away. I was playing like a little sleep setup, sleeping my token spawners, to prolong my value like that. So
nice.
Usually when you put down your token spawners, they immediately evacuate and put everything into the other expedition, kind of giving up the expedition. Be like, all right, we'll just go 1-for-1 stuff to match for me. So I sleep him, and then I sleep him some more, running some Anubises before it was cool. Yeah, I am willing to make those hipster statements for myself. But yeah, no, Justin, I think that was one of the more enjoyable matches I had that weekend. So glad to see you be active still, and that you have a little keepsake to remember me by.
For me, the Essen qualifier was super cool because I think it is even one of Justin's teammates, Dirks, that went, I believe it was 5-3, or especially went quite well on Varu, which was super cool. One of the few, or I think the only good high Varu placements were by him in the qualifiers.
Yeah, I have deep respect for anyone that is still running Waru and making it work despite the knee capping that has been imposed upon him. Showing that, I think even in every qualifier, they have been outperforming the sub hashes, so it could always be worse.
Yeah, that is true. Sub hash isn't doing well either, so yeah. But I do think that sub hash has potential. It
has potential. I've been trying to make it work since day one, being like a tempo sub hash with the hives to finish it off.
Okay, yeah.
And I think if we get some, and I think there are some good ways, right? Especially with the aeroliths coming through.
Oh yeah.
Axiom will be gaining access to more cards just to see more of their deck. It's just the issue is, will it ever be better than running Trace, right? Is Trace the new Afanas of Axiom? I think that's quite a bold statement to make. I don't think we're there yet at all. But it is what is going through my head when thinking like, it will need a lot of extra character to be on the same level as Trace. But it is there, and the amount of control that you can get through it and the amount of tempo you can impose is something to be respected. I am very much looking forward to making Self-Hatch work this time around. Third time, fourth time's the charm, right?
Yeah. I have actually played on this season's Tumult. I have played one time Koja and one time Subhash, and I got second on my Tumult. I unfortunately lost to a Sigismar in the finals, but yeah, it was a nice list, and I do run a lot of fleeting losing uniques, which is super cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. Now, this match has been taking shape, and this can mostly be described as just a complete run on the resources of Arok here. Really struggling to keep cards in play for a longer amount of time, and Kojo taking full advantage of these oddly statted cards that the Arok is playing. However, we are getting some free plays in, so let's see what the fortunes hold for our Lyra enthusiasts.
Yeah, the Kojo here, as I like to say it, is completely running it down the Tumult. Is I think is probably on pace for the fastest game possible on just advancing on the Tumult. I think this should be day 4, so I think there's no faster way except festivals to win the game faster. So yeah, Kojo looking
maybe with
looking
slaves
great.
in Bravos,
true,
right?
yeah.
They can cheat a bit.
That's also true, yeah. But who's using slaves at these days, right? It's a super cool card.
Oh brother, I'm using Slays, man. That is me.
Okay.
I'm running Twinkle Twinkle and Slays.
Okay,
and
I see.
I win with them? Very rarely, but when I do, it feels so good.
I can imagine, yeah. That card is fun.
And there's definitely a split between the decks that you play for tournament results and the decks that you just play for fun. And even the decks that you are not playing for tournament results, I'm still seeing like the results usually being between 40 and sometimes 52% win rate. And I think for decks that then have to take it up against sometimes the more competitive versions, I think that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
And it really goes to show the balance in this game cannot be underestimated.
Yeah, it's super nice at the moment. And I for the last 2 championships qualifiers, I was the one that made the spreadsheets for the different matchups and the win rates in them. And I forgot I needed to do them after this stream maybe, since I have forgotten to make it on the weekend, and then see how it compares to the last two qualifiers. That's always interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm very curious because of this. Let's scale this hole that is left by Afanos. I feel like a lot of heroes are stepping up. We've seen even heroes like Arak getting a little more consistent win rate. They are quite unique, reliant, I feel like, getting those whenever a character with a 0 characteristic enters resupply, kind of these let's call it storm-ish decks coming through from Arak. They are quite dependent, but I have seen some 5-on-1 finishes coming through, showing their potential if things go their way.
Yeah, and there was in London one player that made the resupply list work pretty much for Arak, and it was of course Moondust. And Moondust also one of these players that doesn't play a typical deck unaltered and just really likes these engines decks that at some point just win the game.
Yeah, and I think that these players can really drive the meta forward in a way, really opening the door for other players to improve upon their ingenuity. And I think that is the beautiful part of it. You have these players that are more explorative, that are willing to innovate on already existing concepts, and that is just going very, very well for them. Now, things that are not going very, very well is this Arak turnout, struggling quite a lot as the Kojo only needs 1 more advancement, a single mana with nothing left in reserve. It is looking pretty dire, is it not?
Yeah, and especially with the Stool of Grid here, this was a really sweet hand to finish up the game here for Kojo. It was looking a bit weird for them on the card advantage, because I do believe that Cloth Dancer hit a lot of characters with fleeting, but in the end, not enough card advantage lost here for the Kojo, and they still managed to win with 3 cards here from hand. And and hello Gus in the chat. hello.
Hey Gus, good to see you, bud.
Are you playing? Usually you get to comment my decks on stream. Are you playing today? but I do not believe so, since it's 1.5 hours in the tournament already.
No, who knows?
Maybe,
who knows?
maybe.
I propose we put in a little 3-minute break.
Sure.
Just to wet our throats a little bit. You can hang around if you want to and interact with Checked a bit, but
Yeah, sure.
I'm noticing that my voice is cutting out a little bit, so I'm gonna wet the whistle, and I'll be coming back in a few minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Alrighty. I think we have another 15 minutes left in this tournament, so
there should
we'll be back to cover the last few developments.
Yeah.
So for people, stick around a little bit. You can have a little chat with Rune over here, and we'll be back covering matches in just a jiffy.
Yeah, I will stay here and just keep watching some games.
Yeah, go for it.
So another player that's quite interested, that I'm always quite interested to see is, I think one of the newer members of Alters 8 is Flolsk. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but did make, I believe, top 8 with Besira in Lille, and also top cutted, I think, in the NA qualifier, and therefore it's always exciting to see them. Still on that Besira probably has some, I'm not sure if they're draw occludes at this point, or they just went forward for some other other uniques that still have that occlude effect, that whenever a character gains a boost, that they draw a card. But I think I've seen a bunch of different variations of uniques that they played. We can take a quick look at the discard, but there's nothing in there yet. And Fen looks to be the magical Fen, how I like to call it. That's just picking up cards with Incasters, magical looping a bunch, and yeah. So super sweet deck. And I'm not sure who's favored in this, and usually there's a huge occlude. It has 11 stats, or 11 boosts. I'm not quite sure how you get that many boosts onto a single occlude. Probably it was Twinkle Twinkled a bunch. And there's only one Twinkle Twinkle in reserve, so and no in discard, so I'm not sure how this stuck around for so long. Oh, hello, yikes. I remember our games from earlier, and they were fun. Love chatting away. I need to scroll on a bit. Yeah, Occlude has been snoozing. Oh, and there's a council here coming out. And it is, in fact, one of the cards that I mentioned that draws whenever something gets a boost. And itself is not an Occlude, so yeah, it's... Yeah, and that even goes, draws when going to reserve. That's a good card. But yeah, I think just the wallets of Altered Aces and the unique vault that they have is quite insane, and they do have quite some insane uniques, and yeah, making use of that and getting these uniques into play is super sweet. Getting them, seeing them in action, and yeah, this Occlude just keeps snoozing. The Akasha doesn't like resources, or just likes exhausted resources, because as soon as Basira boosts something again, probably 2 cards from the fan side are exhausted again, and that's just so taxing, especially when your opponent has 5 cards in hand ending their turn. The Occlude has been working out. No, it's committing. I'm not sure what the it's time fraud. It's not working. It's pretending to work, but it's just snoozing instead. Occlude is not doing its job, or at least not in the expedition. It's doing its static ability, but not so much
it's
the
just hibernating.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Just hibernating.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm back, by the way. I'm back. Obviously.
Hello. Yeah. And I've been jumping into. Let me check which game table it was. It is table.
Ooh, now, hitting the Hather on the resupply here is
you're
very big, because you can just get the Anansi onto another expedition whilst getting your Twinkle Twinkle into safety. Nothing in reserve is safe, so even if it's a 2-mana 2/2, you might just take it here.
Yeah, what table are you on right now? I'm on Flolsk against.
Oh yeah, it already finished. I am looking at stream for some reason. Yeah, that is very smart. you have a functioning brain. This might surprise you.
Yeah. And do you remember floats from any of the qualifiers?
No.
Okay.
Which table number are we at?
Oh, let me check. Wait, where is it? I need you to check it.
You can also just copy the link into the description.
Oh yeah, true. That table 29.
29.
Floats is for me one of the players that, or is one of the players that made top 8 in Lille with Basira and had the draw Arc-Dudes. And since then has picked up some other uniques that are not Arc-Dudes, but still have the whenever character gains a boost draw card ability. So yeah, super sweet.
Yeah,
uniques.
that is kind of the thing about Arc-Dudes. Like you can see the ceiling of them, right? It's really high. However, the rare Arc-Dudes are just so good already.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really hard to improve on the Clute since they already carry so much love and power in them. So, yeah, I mean, carrying it into top 8 in Lille is an absolute achievement that cannot be understated. Yeah. Well done. And the fact that they're doing it with Basira when Basira was up and coming, right? This was before Basira was in the powerful position that she has cemented herself in right now.
Yeah, and it's super cool to see. Currently, Bravo seems to be the strongest faction in the game. Just any hero can, especially I think looking at the last win rates from
like
the
just well spread.
So for I think all of the heroes, especially or at least in the qualifiers, had a positive win rate. So I think from the other factions there was only one hero that had a positive win rate, if even. So yeah, I do need to get them for this tournament, for this weekend's tournament. But yeah.
Yeah, and of course, then you can get yourself twisted into many. Let's do table 3, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
We have some ALR on ALR friendly fire going on.
Oh yeah.
As we have Rin and Kojo facing off, with Rin currently in the lead by just a single expedition.
And I do feel like there are some sweet Capellias here on Martin Peshure's deck that just have no condition from reserve and just some incredible effects. I think there are quite some insane Capellias that may have anchor or sleep effects from reserve. I think that's just on Rin a pseudo anchor at dusk or before checking. Yeah, no, it's after advancing.
Yeah, but and what Rin usually struggles with, we don't see a lot of Rin being played in these larger tournaments. Maybe we'll find out today why, or maybe we'll find out why everyone has been misplaying it. However, when you're looking at the setup they currently have for themselves, right? You are just looking at a lot of card vision, as I like to put it, where you get to see so much of your deck, and it doesn't matter that you are a little wasteful now and then by overflowing your reserve. Just the fact that you get to see so many cards is powerful. You'll keep the best of them around. However, you can run out of resources, and by running these draw uniques, you are compensating for that. Muna is kind of struggling to keep up in resources. I really have to do that through Anchored, right? That is what makes their faction an identity. However, when you can run those uniques that allow you to see more cards, you are set up for success.
And we do see some sweet uniques coming out here also from the Kojo side. Just a self-boosting Salvager, and
look at that.
That is it. There's the festival, has all the conditions on the board, and then plays out the festival, so your opponent has no clue when it's coming.
There are plenty of answers for this. Intimidate, mana eruptions, and they do have 2 cards on hand, but Rin is threatening the win right now.
Yeah, plays out the Spy first, so there might be removal on the hand. And you said you were not seeing too many Rins in the tournaments. I think then you haven't seen a lot of the NUC. There are a ton of Rins out there. we have
In
two.
you see, but that
We
is
have
like
two
playing a
to three
different game.
Rins. Yeah, that's true. But we have 2 to 3 Rin players each week, and it's crazy, and it's great. But I think a lot of them are also what we see here, Rin festivals, and yeah, these festivals, they can work out quite fast, or this time quite slow in Rin.
I have seen some absolute shenanigans take place with day three festival wins, especially in Lyra themselves. They can absolutely be ridiculously quick and
Yeah,
just punish any deck that is not running an appropriate amount of interaction. Traced cries when he has to face off against a properly deck built Lyra festival deck.
yeah. I think early on one of the best day 3 festival win heroes was Arjun. Just play day 1
Another nightmare. Yeah.
harvest, day 2 festival, and then just festival them. So yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
these decks are so fun.
it feels so unfair when you're playing against it. It's like, well, guess I lose. And I think it's really funny that the most gamble heavy deck is in Muna, because you are lacking some of the more consistency in a Rin or in an Argent, right? It is kind of, if you don't hit that festival win, it can be quite difficult to recover. Um, but yeah, meanwhile, our gambling addicts in Lyra are a little more calculated that way, but
Yeah,
definitely less ruthless.
yeah, and in Lyra I've also been playing festival a bit, and for me one of the best Lyra players is still LRB. And I just copied his Lyra festival list since he sent it to me, and yeah, it's a great list. And ever since he sent it to me, I love that deck. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and it is really a different way to play the game. Now, they did have the answer ready, getting rid of the sleeping character, no longer fulfilling the conditions of Festival. They will be making a step, and it is all level ones again. And you are currently facing off against a Lyra deck that is a Lyra deck, a Rin deck that is sitting in a solo green expedition, facing a solo green expedition. It'll be very hard to compete with that. On
Yeah,
top of that, they still have Festival. They can definitely still threaten the Festival. They have plenty. They already have 2 cards with Fleeting. They'll be resupplying. I think it might be quite close, despite the fact Kojo will be entering with Buddha.
yeah, and I think when it comes to stats, probably just the Chiron that's currently sitting in the reserve is just looking to put out a ton of stats here for the coaches. So on that part, I think they are favored just because of the stats, and yeah, giving stats when it's entering, and also now whenever any character enters. It's looking good on the expeditions, but there is the festival, and we've only seen the dual off grid that only got rid of a character. There's the
This
sleeper already.
might be the bailout that they were looking for, because
Oh,
Kojo is quite limited in how many bodies it can pump out currently, especially with 4 mana, and it this might go down to the absolute wire, Rune.
yeah, I do feel like they need a mana option here now for this festival, and even then they don't have the stats anymore. It
That
is
they don't have the stats anymore. That is just the multi-pronged attack of a Muna Festival in this regard, right? They can use the Beauty Sleep to take care of the power on the board, or they can give themselves sleep. Now they do luck out a little bit by having by resupplying into another anchor ability on a supply, but it is undeniable the versatility of a Rin working on this level.
yeah. Now the only out I think is the rare mana eruption, and if it's not in the hand, I think this is GG for the Rin side. They just have everything they need in reserve here, and yeah, maybe you can still not even the duel on anything matters, because there's that character sitting in reserve as well. So
Yeah, the threats are abundant when Rin is in charge, and just played so nicely. And just look at these decks. Just look at how many more cards the Rin player got to see. And this is a Kojo that did get a double Haven, that did play the Haven Syringars, right? That does have the unique stat that resupply for him. So it's not as if Kojo wasn't seeing any cards whatsoever. Despite all that, Rin sees more, gets more control, and will be drawing in a win, and she can choose how.
Yeah. And there's the sleep, and then the caregiver, and that is game.
That will be game. And despite it being a team kill, we can rejoice knowing that a slightly less meta deck is moving on to the next round with 0 losses, only 1 win away from qualifying, I believe.
I think if it's
oh no, two more. Yeah, next round will be the 4th one.
Yeah.
Counting till 6 is really hard for me.
Yeah, I can only count to 4.
Yeah. I'm so glad I'm paired with someone that shares my disability.
Yeah.
Makes me feel seen.
We have, I think it's only 3 more tables left. We can take a quick look at table 37 then. It's Aragon
37.
against Blue Ocean. And it is Tasia against Sigismar. And also almost over, but since we are in the end of the round, that is to be expected.
Yeah, let's I mean,
seems quite even to me so far, this game. So I'm looking at this, it's completely tied. Both players have the same amount of cards available and same amount of sets on the board at the moment. It is distributed a bit differently, but that's the baseline how I'm seeing the situation.
Yeah, and most importantly right now is Tasia's hero ability has not been used yet. So the next play will get a boost. So this Lyra Thespian is an absolute bombshell.
Yeah, it is the 4/4 then coming out of 5/5. No, if it's first play, it's the 5/5, but
5 for 2, right? Yeah. Absolutely bananas.
Yeah, it's a good card, but it surprisingly has been cut by a lot of Tasia players since more sets released. But it's still a fantastic card when you just need the stats.
Are you aware of which cards have been taking their place?
Not quite, no.
No, the thing is, these bombs that are coming out, Tasia has been shifting towards a more chaining the anchors together, right? Especially with the cuddly corgis and the value that it generates through that. So the need for just a bomb on itself was less needed, so to say. However, in situations like this or in an arena event, the power is undeniable.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the discard here for Aragon, it doesn't seem like they have these mass anchor uniques, so the cuddly corgi also doesn't get as much value. And it's the unique that it's currently showing is still a super nice one. Ogun that just boosts plants and has an on play anchor as well.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that Tasia does not need to rely on these anchor spam uniques, right, to be competitive.
Yeah, that's super cool. But also, I do really dislike the mass anchor uniques. I know technically there are different style of decks that I like to play, but to me it's just to me it always felt like at some point there's just nothing to do anymore, and I'm not playing the same type of deck, so I shouldn't complain anymore about mass anchor, but it's still a deck that I dislike from early on
for quite a while now. I think like since the birth of Altered, the mass anchor has been in a position where it is the preferred way to play for Muna. Now people have been experimenting and inventing new ways to play around it without being reliant on these mass anchor decks, because let's be real here, even the anchor spam lists, they are not getting the top results, right? We're not seeing Muna dominate the charts. So I think they kind of have to say, all right, this anchor spam is not currently getting the results we need. Let's try it another way. Yet players are still kind of dug into making it work despite it not really getting those results. So I'm waiting and I'm welcoming all these Argent decks, all these Rin decks that are reinventing what it means to play Muna.
Yeah. And I love experiment and Bandit, of course. But I think, especially looking at last weekend, we can't say anymore that these Tasia lists haven't gotten any results, since I think there were 5 Tasias in the top cut. One of them made it into finals, one of them was in top 4, and I think the other 3 might have dropped somewhere along the way in the top cut. And there was, I think, one undefeated on the Saturday in group 1. I think it was who was it? I forgot the player's name, but there was definitely one player that went 10-0 through Swiss with the mass and Tasia, and yeah, it is returning. It's not long that this deck has. It's long that this deck hasn't seen as much success, but this last weekend, Mass Tasia has seen a massive rise again and had, in my opinion, also the success again.
I looked it up real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the last 7 AWOL tournaments, there's been 2 Tasias finishing top 4.
Okay, yeah, fair.
And that is, like, honestly, that means, it's definitely still viable, right? And I did not check if they were anchor spams. I'm not digging into that.
It's crazy that it has risen within
for sure. But I think it just goes to show that to be at the top, it is competitive, not only dominated by 1 or 2 heroes, but I feel like it is every week. I see a different hero at the top. It can be Traced, it can be Lindiva, it can be Kojo, it can be Fen. There's so much to pick from, and it really goes back to how you execute your deck. I think it has been proven that a variety of decks can be successful. It's all in how you pilot it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you reach that point, where it's not how I pilot the exact same deck that you play, but how I pilot my iteration, my version of what I think is strong, and still getting success with that is the sign that the meta is in a healthy spot right now.
Yeah. And also just the fact that it's evolving within over weeks, or within 1 week, the meta is kind of impressive to see. It's so cool.
It's unprecedented to see in a card game that, well, especially the slump that we're coming out of, right, where it was slight alterations in Sigismar and Afanas and Tasia, like a little triangle going on there.
Yeah.
The slight alterations. Oh, you run 3 Sandmans? I run 2. Oh, ingenuity. No, I do prefer this playstyle where there's way more room for personal preference, for personal skill expression, and for personal vision in how you view the game.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah. I think there's only one more table left, table 6.
It's not Chocobar. I checked. It is not.
Yeah. Chocobar, I believe, was table 7, not table 6. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not Chocobar. However, it is another Nevenka, and we're both in the red, coming down to the absolute wire, and just, this will be an absolute banger of a final day.
Yeah, and Skycryer, also one of the players that I think has been known quite from the early days on in Altered, and then hasn't been showing too much, but now seemingly has returned and is now on that Nevenka. And let me look at the uniques. Yeah, they do have some spell picking up alchemists. So not the card returning ones that could also loop the Daedalus, just picking up magical trainings and seemingly hooked. So yeah, sweet Nevenka list.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see how they will be managing themselves around the setup currently from our Tasia player. For now, just feeling out the way what can be done. Now, resources are drying up, and when your aloe veras are being played in an expedition without water, you might be scrapping a little bit. But look how much Anchored is getting put down. If we are going to Arena, then they are set up for success.
Yeah, it's looking like an Arena day. No, it's not going to Arena. Oh wait, yeah, it's going to time. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and that was quite close in the end. Muna taking away the win here on time. But let's be real here. I think they had that one in the bag if they were to play for another minute.
Yeah. Do you still want to watch Ismir players? I think
I am especially if they're on the higher tables. I would love.
I think table 3.
Just a little check-in into how Ismir is faring throughout everything.
Then let's go to Matmatu against FUG Oka on table 3.
Table 3, you said. I'm on my way.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Matmatu is actually playing Ismir today, but recently, whenever I've seen Matmatu, they are usually on either a Farnus or a Kesha recently, I think. But maybe they are just switching it up again and still testing out the meta. So yeah, or testing out new decks. Ismir doesn't exist. It does, Gus. It does. There are good decks, and the last 2 BGA qualifiers that had the faction champion was some Kesha player. I'm not quite sure who, but yeah. I think the lucky part about the hostage decks, I myself only know 4 players that have recently, 4 maybe 5 players that recently have played this. I think 5. When it comes. So yeah, there aren't too many. I mean, you don't have to worry or tech against this deck. It's fine.
It's not cheese, right? Because I mean, I think we have seen the fact that it can be quite successful, but it is an unconventional way to be playing the game.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Because in Arena, yeah, we can win on time, but let's say like, is there a real viable way for them to be like? Is there a grand endeavor hiding in there somewhere to carry it across the line if need be?
No, it's just small steps.
It's just all right, but there is a legitimate way to come to. Well, that is at least a point in their favor, I'd say, because when it's just leaning on stalling, right, and there's no real end game plan, so to speak, it becomes a lot more tricky. Now,
and
don't be fooled. It's not Sigismar into Afanas, but it is Orders into Ismir, and I will say I think it feels similar. And I'm not sure, Rune, are you a StarCraft player?
No.
That's so sad. But I'm sure there's someone in chat that has been playing StarCraft or has played or used to play Warcraft or whatever. It feels to me that Orders into Ismir feels as my Terran versus Zerg. It's the match on the cover. It is what you see in all the cinematics. It is iconic, and it holds a special place in my heart, especially if the decks are innovative.
I did play some Hearthstone recently, and I think they did some StarCraft expansion, so I now know the term Zerg at least. So a little bit of the terminology I at least understood there.
Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on chat to see if I'm the sole StarCraft enjoyer that also has that. If I'm the one in the Venn diagram that overlaps with StarCraft and Altered. For now,
I know that one of my teammates is playing StarCraft as well sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say, man? After all these years, it's still holding up as
also
the best RTS ever.
Also, the creator of Altered is playing StarCraft. So yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're in the category where you're like 30-ish, then there's a good chance, like, because StarCraft was like the first iteration of a proper esport that was getting the that was getting big stages. So that is kind of how I rolled into it. But yeah, I think it just feels like such an iconic show off, where it's really, you know what to expect. You've seen it a million times, and yet I'm still entertained by it every single time. Now, these heroes are going 1-for-1 pretty consistently. However, with the single proper use of the Orders Attorney, we see a tiny bit of advantage accruing for Sigismund.
Yeah, the turn 1 draw was quite useful, but actually the Sigismund had to spend 2 cards each turn, while turn 1 Kesha only spent 1 card, so I think they're currently half a card ahead, right? With that math, should be like that.
Yeah, with like a resupply, sure, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we do share.
Next day will be quite important, right? Because as the Sigismund, it's quite important that on this day you are not overflowing your reserve and squandering that tiny little lead you acquired yourself.
I think we're sharing the same game with the Altered Aces stream once again, since Hurricane is again on the same table as we are. That is quite funny.
Well, they have good choice. They have good taste in the game. What can I say?
That's true. And if I remember correctly, this is probably the same list that Matmatu was running last week, and I've played against that list and have since looked at it and tried to build this myself, and it's I think, very aggressive type of a cacher that just wants to have well-stated characters, or higher. It wants to have characters that have more stats for its costs than usual. So there are category mage alchemists and rare, so they are one more stat than you usually get on a three cost body, and there are also some Pamolas, some Hathors, and in general some nice spiking characters, stats that have.
Look how the reserve is being managed from Sigismar right here.
Yeah.
Drawing themselves cards, filling up their reserve, keeping up, and they're still up one resupply right now with the Gift of Self coming through. Now here, Ordis Accountant. I think this is one of the strongest cards in Ordis. Uncommon.
Yeah.
Like besides from teamwork training, this card holds so much power. I think it's one of the most versatile cards that Ordis can play. First of all, playing it from reserve, if you do get it fully stacked up, which, let's be real, you usually will, it's a 4/4/4 for 3, which in Lyra, you have to pay a rare slot for. In Muna, you have to pay a rare slot for to get a 4/4/4 for 3 from your reserve. And on command, it can either asleep anything you want, something on your side, something on your opponent's side. The versatility is unmatched. And the power it holds, I would almost always play this as a 3-off. We've seen 1-off here, sometimes we play 2. I think the absolute strength that this holds, the only downside is to curve it early on. A 3-drop early on, you do need a good target for that sleep.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I feel like I haven't seen this card too much, but yeah, I can agree. Just that it's a 2-cost 2/2 from hand, and also, as you said, the sleep plus overstated from reserve. It is looking quite strong, but I'm surprised for the strength that I would appoint to this card, that I've not seen it too often myself.
No, it's usually being run once. It's coming up a tiny bit. I personally ran 3 of them at ESSA with very good success.
Okay, yeah.
Now my deck does enjoy sleeping its own cards, so I usually had a proper target to sleep. But right now, right, you can drop another 1-drop from hand right now, and then play your Accountant from reserve, sleeping your own Attorney, and you still won't be overflowing your reserve. It's another way for Ordis to manage their reserve, making sure they're not overflowing whilst playing a lot of lower curved cards. And I really hope to see another one being dropped relatively soon, or at least that they're playing it. I mean, maybe you want to... Don't have the 1-drop in hand.
It's just
going
with
Ordis Crier.
Yeah.
Nice theory, but it's not coming to fruition.
Was a good call out, though. I really liked it. And yeah. With this now, if there's one more play from the Sigismar side, it's unfortunately probably going to overload them the reserve, unless it's a spell. But yeah,
Gift of Self. And I mean, with the way they've been drawing, I have only seen the Gift of Self being played as of yet. And you just know that they're running 3 teamwork trainings or a tiny jail.
Yeah.
Now, you are a little fearful of the Silas, of course. But even at that point, if they do play the Silas from reserve, you can just pass. Yeah. Or you can just see what you can acquire for yourself. Maybe it might be even worth it to drop an Ordis Legate to deny any future plays on their side. But this surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, me too. Actually, this surprises me as well. It's now looking like this is an easy advantage for... Okay, Hypothermia is not a card I expected in Sigismar. It's a card I really love, but not one that we see too often. And there's a Pomarola, still get the advance here. But that Attorney will now draw a card, not overloading the reserve at all. And yeah.
Yeah, and you are okay with just ditching the Hypothermia. You know, if you can get a second use out of it later in the game, lovely. But you are not too mournful when you are discarding it from your reserve. It's a steep price to pay. It's already done its job, in my regards.
Yeah.
And now it's just all about that resource management. Be careful, because this Pamela can be exhausting already. Will not be done. Instead, remember these bad boys?
Yeah, I do, and it is it is one of the Damien ones, and yeah, it is the exhaust 2 cards.
Absolute havoc. These bad boys were all the rage when Trial by Frost was coming out. Everyone was head over heels to get as many Belasenkas as they could, and I'm glad that they're still seeing play because, matter of fact, these cards do hold a lot of power, especially when you're first player.
Yeah, I've gotten the insight on these cards now. They were initially Damien's, or I'm not sure what the Discord name is, but on BJ Damien, and they were since picked up by, I think it's ZZ Pompon from DSL, and they are currently borrowed over to Matmatu, so he can play them here and showcase them the beauty of these double exhaust and discard a card from the opponent's hand. Super amazing, super powerful, and yeah, I feel like this is now quite a taxing turn for the Sigismar side. And
yeah, they are absolutely fuming because they will be putting that Orders Attorney into reserve, and then you have to resort to just drawing as many cards as you can. You are facing off against that Baba Yaga as well. They do have a lot of mana, but everything you play right now is just going straight into the bin.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. The Osmar still draws the Sigismar card, but yeah, currently seems to have to discard 2. Probably needs to play another one because the Pamela's just threatening to win on the companion side as well. So you probably have to discard 3 from reserve at dusk. And that is not a spot that you want to be in as Sigismar, losing that many cards.
Yeah, it is quite the investment right now, but it has to pay off big for Akesha as well, because they will be... we'll see how it fares for them. And then a card like Sandman can pay off big time.
Yeah.
Making them advance on their own turn, whilst also making sure that Belasenka will not be played again from reserve the next turn. I think personally it kind of tips away your hand as well. You're kind of saying, I do not have Sabotage on hand to deal with it. Otherwise, you'd probably be sleeping something of yourself. But even if they were to sleep something of their own, they would not be advancing that day whatsoever. Now, big overflow.
Yeah. And now the Akasha side isn't even overflowing at all. Just gets that Baba Yaga back, and yeah, 3 cards now. Too many in Sigismar's reserve, and they had the chance to 2-0 here, but just decided, well, if I'm on 1 card left in hand, I'm probably not winning the game. So, or maybe didn't even have the last card to double advance here, so yeah. But it was definitely a situation where they could have taken the Tumult lead here.
Yeah, we're really gonna have to see how this progresses into the next day, because that is what it's going to be all about. How will it pay off? Can they overcome a big Balasenka like this? The answers are quite limited, as it doesn't have any boosts. It won't be hit by another Tiny Jill. So you're really looking at either a teamwork training later on in the game when they cannot immediately recast it. But man, they really want to be threatening the win right now. But when you're starting the day facing off against a 3-4-4, that might be a little harder than you want it to be.
Yeah, just... I'm a bit surprised there are a ton of Belasenkas that do have that double exhaust, but super low stats, and this one, it is a 5 cost, but still has great stats. Even there are some that also spawn moth tokens, but this one is just fantastic. Gets slapped again, so no double exhaust next turn on and discard. So yeah, good start for the day, but of course now Akasha can start just slow playing, and there's probably a hunger in the deck, but I don't think that it will come down this turn.
I would be... Well, they have been almost going through half their deck, but this will be the guarantee that we needed, that no hunger will be popping out this turn. And here we go. Now we are in business. Sigismar wants to end it today, but there are a lot of resources still available, and a single After You can end this day prematurely.
Yeah, now we do see a token spammer here on Amelia Earhart. It is spawning in the other expeditions, so the Akasha kind of knows what expedition they want to play for here. But of course, still probably rather want to slow play and see what the Sigismar has installed from hand here. And yeah, I think it's a tricky situation for both.
I think it's interesting to highlight the placement of this token spawner, right? Because yeah, we are threatening the win for today, but we're also looking at tomorrow. And because the Balasenka is weakest in green, it is so important that the expedition facing the Balasenka is sitting in green. It's currently in Solo Mountains, so it's very important that even if we do not win today, that we are advancing into an expedition with green in it.
Yeah, that is that's pretty good to look out for, yeah. And we do now see the off you go hitting that Amelia, since that generates more value for the opponent, so you want to get rid of that. Force your opponent to replay it and not have the value for the upcoming turn. And no, Sigismund just plays from hand instead.
And now it feels everything in my body is saying Sandman in hand. Because I think otherwise the extra pressure of just replaying your token spawner would be preferred. But I think you really want to be very careful with your very next play as Matma'u, because everything on the side of Sigismund is screaming Sandman. We see it right here. They will be doing a little extra after you to make sure they can answer these threats as efficiently as possible.
So Rare Alchemist is your call to still stall it out for the Akasha here? If there's the Sandman. Oh, there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't play the Sandman right now, right? The value is just nowhere to be had. I think we'll be playing
plays it.
That surprises me.
Yeah, that's true, but just still has a ton of stats, and yeah, I think only Rare Sandman here. Maybe, yeah, Rare Sandman is getting the easy 1-for-1, but also now has the setup for the next turn with the 4-4-4 starting off for the Sigismund. But yeah, your call out here with the Sandman was fantastic. That was great.
Yeah, it's quite an easy one in Sigismund, right? Because they usually all run 3 Sandmans.
Yeah, I'm not a Sigismund player, so yeah.
It was perfect for them. The biome setup was absolutely perfect for them, being in Solo Mountain or Mountain and Water. They're set up for success, and the only thing that's hurting right now are the extra resources on the side of Akesha, and the fact that she's first player, so she gets the sabotage if she draws into that. Or she gets the pass, she will always be happy.
I think there are more Balasenkas in the Akasha stack, so if they draw that, I feel very bad. Yeah, I think another Balasenka might be game over here. Just another double exhaust plus discard from hand. That could lock up the game.
And you called it out earlier, this is not the sitting back Akasha. This is a more aggressive Akasha, keeping up with the tempo put out by Sigismund. Yeah. And this is no slouch whatsoever. Bringing out the token spawners, bringing out the Ordis Criers, still playing the Foundry mechanics. This deck wants to advance quickly. It wants to beat you out whilst being able to draw the card with Attorneys and Gift of Selves. But now they couldn't find the advantage they were looking for. Akasha was keeping up till the very end, and now it's up to them. Now, going after you, allowing this token spawner to spawn once again, I think might be quite threatening. Even if you do have the answer for it.
There's one other answer as well, and it's called hunger.
That is very true.
It's dead to license the withdrawal, but I think if there's a hunger here, you're very happy. You're kind of comfortable on the Akasha side, since there needs to be 2 exact cards, or there needs to be exactly license withdrawal. Yeah,
the fact that they are choosing to play not their token spawner.
Maybe they're expecting to go into tiebreak and just okay. Now I'm also confused. Yeah, now I'm also surprised.
Yeah, what were they feeling out for?
Because maybe we're scared of
you can't be. If you're living in fear of hunger, nothing has changed here.
Yeah,
and now you're just missing out on a single token. And what's a single token? A single token can be everything, especially in a situation like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on top of that, you're also still, the only one water stat from Amelia Earhart. You might have preferred to swap around the stats a little bit. And we are seeing a full-on commitment into the hero expedition of Ismir. And with only 2 cards left, I mean, there are plenty of scary cards for Ordis to be running, but they will be passing. And now it might be for the taking for Akasha.
Yeah. There's already the GG.
That is surely it, right?
Yeah, Beauty Sleep is doing it, and Sandman goes to sleep itself, and yeah.
Man, I wonder what was left in his hand that he was passing with 5 mana up, 2 cards in hand. We might... That is not the way you like to see it go. But Mama will be moving on to the next round, putting another Akesha onto these top tables.
I love reading the YouTube chat right now. Justin is trying to figure out how to get the #1 badge on the YouTube chat.
I mean, it's an honorable title to be holding. Let's be real here.
Yeah, I'm also trying my best whenever I'm chatting to get that badge. But yeah, I've also not figured out how you actually get points. You just have to periodically write something in the chat. But yeah, I'm not too sure.
Yeah. All right. With one of these top tables coming to an end, we will be on the lookout for the next one.
Yeah.
If you spy one, feel free to just go for
Sure.
it. Any familiar names?
I am looking.
Spike is on table 4. Is still playing. No, they're pretty much done.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's wait down a little bit because MNT Alfia is playing on table 9. Let's have a little look over there.
Table 9. Yeah.
Raced against Traced. 4D chat in action.
And one of these trays seems slightly ahead of the other one.
One is not like the others. However, the cards might be all the difference that there has to be.
And
because trays are great at getting the engine running, right? But once you get a misfire in there and it slows down, and suddenly you're not getting those cards in your reserve the way you want them to, especially with uniques that don't work on arrow, right? You might be encountering some troubles. So let's see if Alfia is capable of pulling it across the line.
First unique we see here, and it's surprisingly put a card to reserve to return a card. That's not the usual unique that we expect from a Trace player, but that actually gets quite a lot of counters early on in the game for the Trace to get the U ability online, but yeah, probably not the strongest to get a ton of value.
Most importantly right now, they are blocking in
True. Just by playing one character.
Single hooked or with just the Keylon cylinder, they will be going over, and then you're only left discarding a single card and another card with the Energy Pioneer going to reserve as well, and you're unique. So there are some low-costed ways to power through this, and I'd be very surprised if Wittek is investing the hook this turn.
Yeah, I think there's still the boost from Alfia coming out, so probably needs to hook, I think.
Yeah, but even just going 1 for 0 today is kind of fine if it means that you're holding on to cards.
Yeah,
right?
that's true, and the hook isn't really solving problems anyway. So yeah, just play cylinder and yeah.
And for next turn, you'll still have Mowgli with the 3 in green to make sure you can advance yourself. Won't be doing a lot of favors for you in blocking your opponent.
Oh, true. Still gets to play because of the bike. Yeah.
Yeah, gets to play the exhausted cards from reserve. Holding on for dear life, making up a little bit of the deficit by going 1-0. Only 2 expeditions behind, but 2 expeditions behind feels like miles in this position.
Yeah, this 8 also super interesting. It is making another character lose fleeting and gain 1 boost. It is an effect that I do really like, and I myself like it a lot for Sapesh, but not too much for Trace, since they tend to overload their reserve anyway a lot of the times. So it feels a bit redundant to play this one as well. But it's still giving the boost over is nice.
And especially with the new cards of the set slowly dripping out, right? We're seeing some more support for cards that will be removing fleeting, taking away fleeting. But inherently, it's really tricky to be managing your reserve when you're removing fleeting from cards, because you're just putting a whole lot of extra cards in reserve, usually including the card that took away the fleeting, right? Vanguard from hand, helping hands. So you really have to be drowning in resources, or the cards that you're taking fleeting away from are making up for those extra losses in overflowing.
Do you already have any cards from the new set that you're looking forward to playing a lot?
Oh, do you have an hour or 4? Definitely. I think the bird with Defender.
Okay.
Imuna. that loses a defender. I mean, we're getting all these 3-4 mana kind of bombs in these factions that I think hold so much power, which in turn will give more power to the off you goes, will give more power to the hooked, right? So I think we're going into a very interesting direction with the set where hopefully the power of the cheap after use will be limited a little tiny bit. I'm just hoping that Lyra will get more varied playstyles, right, than we're currently seeing. And with the new Lyra hero, I am seeing exactly that. I had the pleasure of spoiling Muna's Signet not a week ago.
Nice.
And I think getting that in Lyra, I think it's such a brilliant decision to keep it rare. Just so to make sure they can't bounce it over and over again from reserve. I think Lyra will be very happy with it, and it feeds directly into the game plan that this new hero brings to the table.
The Muna Signet is also one of the cards that looks super cool. Just
right.
I think is it the first card that puts these markers on the map? We've seen the idea that it's doing it, but for card itself.
Non-hero. I think it might be, unless people have insider knowledge.
Yeah.
Then, but I think it's the official rule. Non-hero card that is shown to introduce this mechanic onto just regular draftable cards.
And it's super cool. I think that card looks so versatile with that.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting to, and you get to stick around your aloe veras a little more. The advantage of Haven Seringar gets increased a lot. You're already sometimes running the Persephone. So yeah, I'm very curious to see what it will hold in the future. Now, we are currently looking at a very peculiar position for our Thrace player up top, as they're forced to Avalanche. Meanwhile, they still have 4 power in green for 2 mana, ready to go. They still have a boost, ready to go. So Traced is, our bottom Traced, our Italian Traced, is looking fine. But Wittig really has to be managing his time here, because he is dwindling down more and more, and this might be the finishing blow that we were looking for.
Yeah, it is. It's an Anansi and gets only 2 boosts. Doesn't have the I gain 1 boost for each card in each player's reserve, just for its own reserve. But that's probably enough here. And I think with this Martingale, the Wittig already says, well, you're not winning the game this turn, but it also is not in a comfortable spot. Just gives over 1-0, it seems, again to Alfia here, and
Yeah, and
just
that
trading
brings,
the kill encounters.
Yeah, that brings Alfia so close to this victory.
Yeah,
and it puts Wittig another step behind. And even though the resources are starting to dry up a little bit, the fact that this bug out bag is still sticking around, and when you look at the discard pile of Alfia, you can tell there is still another Dr. Frankenstein in their deck with only 7 cards left. The chances are only coming higher and higher and higher that they do have something in that way in their deck. They still have Trace available, will not be using it to sabotage anything this time around. And that is a little bit telling. Sabotage coming through. That is the end of Afanas. And pinching an already depleting pool of resources might be the exact thing they needed to stay in this game.
But is Trace ever running out of cards with that hero ability? Doesn't look like it to me. And yeah, still has now 1 card again in reserve, 2 cards in hand, so not quite out of cards yet, but is down. Does have the first play here, and so Wittig has the answer at least most of the times. Oh, and we do see another Haven here.
Ooh,
good resupply.
They
as
do
well.
have quite the bomb to drop, but they're gonna be They're gonna have to contest 2 expeditions themselves. Yeah. So it's gonna be very tricky, and the absolute value that these Kilo Elementals are getting will be massive. Now this surprises me a little bit.
Yeah.
Kinda, I mean, we still have a single hooked in hand, right? We didn't see that get played.
That is true, yeah.
So I think that might be tipping the hand a little bit, and that means that the Kilo Elemental will be getting maximum value but it might not be enough when Alfia plays their own.
Two
Oh, it's a
elementals.
game of Keelan Elementals, and it looks like Wittig will be pulling on the long end, but they are getting in serious time trouble.
Huh. I feel like that hooked was not it. Oh, draws into a perfect card, I think. That still wins. Okay. That was drawn off the hooked, right? That's
Yeah, but
that's
I
a
mean, they
clutch draw.
have drawn all but one of the cards in
Okay,
their
yeah,
deck,
yeah,
so...
true. It was
At a certain point, luck is no longer a factor when you draw
yeah,
all the cards in your deck,
yeah.
but one. But
Then it came.
regardless, you're not in a great position as Trace right now, especially because you have to go first.
Yeah. And the landmarks from both of these players kind of matching. It's I think I would value the cylinder a bit over the Haven, just because it's more flexible, but also the Haven is more synergetic with the Frankenstein. So it's
Yeah,
a bit
and
of
the
a
Haven
bit
will just put
of a
up more
tricky call.
power, right? So the question is the flexibility more powerful than the just raw value? But look at that. Look at this. They are matching it
I
on that
suppose.
now as well. And this might be the last push they were looking for.
Yeah. Finds another hooked. But hook doesn't really help you if you're behind, so it's...
No, he's just dumping everything out of hand, and
Yeah.
you are kind of waving the white flag when the thing you're dropping in reserve is a hooked, right? We're looking for Frankensteins, we're looking for big bombs, and this is currently not it. And you're also missing out once again on your Haven passive, right? Getting that little
Yeah.
extra boost in there.
Yeah, it currently doesn't show a way to get cards into reserve. There might be a way from hand, but on only 3 mana, it's looking a bit dire here. And also, I think the Skibble just played from reserve is also a big threat here, and that could just lock up the game as well.
Yeah, and if they can't, they can just resupply to see what else is out there. I think we're still due one more Frankenstein. And with the fact that it's not being played in hand right now, I do believe that one of these last 2 cards in their deck might be the Frankenstein. So we'll see. There it is. Keeble coming through as both these players are running out of time. There is the pass. That is the end of it.
Yeah.
And it was close. It was hard fought. But as predicted, Trace is winning this match.
Yeah. I was really rooting against the Traces, but unfortunately they still won. So yeah.
Man, it's just 100% win rate of one of these Traces in this game. It is inevitable.
And there are not a lot of tables left. That might have even been the last table that's just finishing up.
Yeah.
So we should be moving on to round 5 shortly.
Good. Are you still filled up on refreshments, Rune?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. As we are heading into our penultimate round.
Yeah.
This will be the one, and I do advise we are keeping track of the top tables here, because these are the tables that will be playing for the tickets into the AWOL Invitational. Yeah. So these are the tables that are playing for it all.
And I'm happy to see Chocobar here, that is still undefeated at this point. Of course, we won't be taking a look at the game now, but there are still some other undefeated players that we haven't seen. I think table 1 we've seen neither of these players. Corazon against Gregux.
Let's see. It's another Rin. So yeah, let's go with the Rin table for now, because the other one is still loading up. The other table is a Fen into a Kesha. So yeah, I'd love to cover the Rin right now.
Sure, that's table 2.
Is off to a rough start, as they are absolutely cucked by a Will of the Wisp.
Yeah, Will of the Wisp is a good card on day 1. I really like this I'm mostly playing it in Fen.
Yeah, especially in a faction that, in my opinion, sometimes kind of struggles to have proper day 1 starts. I think Lyra, very easily exploitable on day 1. I mean, they have a few combos set up to go even, right? But they are quite exploitable with so many 0 characteristics. sometimes being forced to play an A.W.O.L on turn 1 just to get a single expedition themselves. With the Will-O-the-Wisp, you are kind of almost guaranteed to go for.
I feel like at this point we should just join streams with Hurricane. We're again on the same table, apparently. Great to see that they are choosing the same table as we are. Fantastic to see.
Get your own table, guys. Come on, we were here first. Now there is plenty of room for 2 on this table, and with the Will-O-the-Wisp still threatening the other expedition as well, this Nevenka is off to an absolutely flying start.
Yeah, looks great, and yeah, currently not even playing the Druid would benefit them since there's still that Nevenka role, and I hope they are not as unfortunate as who was that in top card? There was some Nevenka player that rolled 3 once of the Nevenka ability in the same game. I think it was in top 4 even, so super brutal game for them, and yeah.
That is rough, but I mean, in this position, right? You know you're not advancing anyway, but you could be stopping them. Yeah. So you can only win in this regard. Yeah. Either the result stays the same, or you win.
And I think in this case,
a 5 out of 6 to be gaining in that situation. Yeah. And just like this one, well, maybe they might have liked to have the little 1 mana after you, but having a 2/2 with Anchored sticking around, they'll for sure not be too mournful. But it does make it tricky to manage that reserve, as they will have an extra card going to reserve today.
Yeah, and I also think that you might have preferred drawing the 1 here over the 6, since you probably just want to have plays, and now it's kind of looking like you are gonna overload your reserve anyway, so that card being anchored might not benefit you as much as it would otherwise. So yeah, but maybe still just the 2/2 character is still enough to maybe get a 2/0 here. So yeah, you never know what's gonna happen. And also
Incaster will help out with preventing to overflow.
Yeah, Incaster is such a good card.
You're gonna have to play something that you then in fact do not want to put in reserve, as they are gearing up for a 2/0 day, but they're gonna have to be very. Oh, there it is, the immediate answer to get rid of the Lyra Festival, and this is absolute devastation. 5 mana spent for a draw a card and a resupply, but losing 2 expeditions. Who knows where the next festival in their deck will be?
Yeah, Nevenka was absolutely prepared for this. The Nevenka was prepared, and yeah, a Rin getting punished by this, but yeah, whenever you see a Rin, you should probably expect fence. I feel like there are no giveaways of it being no other giveaway of the Rin being a festival list other than it being Rin. I feel like they can run any rare and common and unique slot they want and still just slot in festivals there. It just always works out for them, and you really need to check your opponent's deck list to make sure there are festivals in there. But I feel like so for me, I'm always checking my opponent's deck list when I'm playing on BGA. But that's the great thing about in-person tournaments. There your opponent doesn't know your entire deck list, so there you can cheese your opponent as much as you want.
Yeah, it's a little tricky way to play in BGA. I do like playing without the deck list reveal, because it does really reward ingenuity and experimenting in the game, right? And it also really rewards your knowledge of the meta. Like how familiar are you with the cards being run right now, and how well do you adapt to when cards that you maybe were not expecting are hitting the table? How are you dealing with that? I think that is really where the seasoned players are being distinguished from the less seasoned players.
Yeah, and I think that's also one of the reasons why my deck type is rewarded much more in online play, because I have full information about my opponent's deck list and can punish them fully for running specific cards or not running specific cards, and don't really have to play around anything that I know isn't there. So yeah, it's for me, BGA is great in that regard, but yeah, for others, this is really
it's a different way of how you approach a game, right? Yeah. Because having full information about your opponent's deck list is the norm in plenty of other TCGs, where you get full information also for an integrity aspect of the game, right? That there's no cards being slipped in last minute. I mean, it's a little more depressing and nefarious to be thinking about, but it's definitely where you have to keep your eyes open for in situations like this.
Yeah. And to me, Altered is my first TCG I'm playing. Before I've only played casually Hearthstone, but just casually and nothing else really. So I'm really new to the TCG scene in that regard, and yeah, I'm enjoying it so far a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Altered is really unique, no pun intended, in the way they have designed the game for themselves.
Yeah.
It really the embodiment of easy to learn, hard to master.
Yeah.
You can be as straightforward or as convoluted as you would like to be in this game, and you are really being rewarded for both being original and inventive with new decks, as well as being very well versed in a more focused approach into the game. That's what makes players like all of the marbles so special, who are both inventive and spread out over a lot of factions. These are players that are so deadly on such a wide array of decks, not only because they're great at deck building, because there is just a proper chance that they know your deck better than you do.
Yeah, that is very true. And yeah, all of the marbles here is a fantastic player. Just in the beginning, for me, marbles was good because he wasn't ever running any, I'd say, meta decks considered by others, and was just trying out stuff, and now has shown, still not playing maybe the Trace, the Sigismars, but still playing highly meta decks and making it work super well. I think is the only player that made top cut in all three of the BGA qualifiers, so that is a huge accomplishment. And also now with yesterday qualifying for Worlds, super good player, strong player, and super cool to see.
Yeah. Now let's see how this is taking shape, as it's another little advance, a 1-for-1 in this match, as Nevenka is teetering towards victory. But look at the cards slipping into reserve, and everything is screaming that they are setting up for a festival win. It is very tough for them right now, because the Requiem has been returned to hand, so it's going to be very, very tricky for Rin to find a way out of this one, especially when you're faced off against one of the more versed people playing Nevenka.
Yeah, and also super sweet unique here. It's just pick up uniques, pick up Mage Dancer, and has a role on itself. So whenever you play it, you pick up a card, and then whenever you use Nevenka or play other cards that roll dice, it is super sweet. And I feel like this Rin is up for a tough task here, since...
Do you wanna hear my absolute bombshell of a Lyra Mage Dancer that I pulled like way back when?
Sure, yeah.
I think it was a 2-mana, 1-mana.
Okay.
For pretty normally statted Mage Dancer that both returned cards when you roll the dice and gave +1 to all your dice rolls.
Yeah,
when I see them being played right now, like back at the time, I could get rid of it to a person who could actually play it on that level. And whenever I see an Nevenka come out, I'm always kind of like, oh, I hope I see my old friend again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny seeing the cards you once had yourself, then played by others. I had it with one of Farnus unique that I had, that I sold over the marketplace, and then I think 1 or 2 weeks later saw an A.W.O.L played by one of the Altered Aces players, and that was super fun to me.
Yeah, and as this table is coming to an end, I suggest we move on to the table below, where Fen is facing off against Akesha.
Yeah,
I'll send the link to you, so you don't even have to look up a table number. 1 second. Yeah, that's coming your way. And as we just saw the previous day, I've been keeping an eye on it in the back. As we just saw Loki being played, absolutely demolishing. I think what must have been like a 8-card hand on the side of Akesha, being all forced into the bin, leveling the playing field once again, but in reality skewing the game in favor of our French fan player in a way that cannot be understated.
And what is this Loki? It is so sweet. It has the Loki ability on a pay 1, so it's essentially a 7 cost, but also next to that Loki ability has a draw card. Super sweet, super clean. So yeah, just resets hand and reserve from both players, it seems. And
And
yeah,
also does it from reserve for free with the support ability, right? Seven
oh
mana
yeah,
for a 5/6
oh
3
yeah,
draws is pretty ass.
yeah.
Excuse my French, but just doing it for free on the support ability, absolute darling of a play. But do not underestimate. I mean, there are still plenty of ways to get that Loki back into hand. Is not the path we are moving forward on today. Instead, ditching it for that little extra card draw. But look how he has Akesha on the ropes, absolutely yoinking away all those valuable cards they've been working day after day after day to
Oh,
acquire for themselves, all being ripped away in a single day.
discarded a bunch of great cards there. Discarded the hunger. No magical trainings left. No beauty sleeps apparently as well. Yeah, seems like the Akasha had a good setup until they don't. So yeah,
Yeah, and that is, I mean, there are some Rin decks as well that are playing like triple unique low keys for like 6 or 5 mana. That I always kind of struggle against because you spend maybe 4 days sculpting your board state to where you have all those extra cards, where you work so hard only for it to be ripped away, and that is just so beautiful that these cards that we were kind of dismissive of at the start, well, not we, but people were dismissive of, are seeing that niche. There's always a way out, it seems like, or the next answer to the meta. The wheel keeps on turning, as they say.
yeah, and yeah. Also, we've seen Chocobo earlier on, and Lokis are also a great way to potentially play into these types of decks that we've seen earlier. I want to spell. I've won against a player that played Loki every second turn with a hostage list. I still won. I didn't care about the Lokis at all. I had 2 Eldar shots and they didn't have removals for them, so that might have been the reason I won that game. But yeah, Lokis don't work into hostage. Yeah, you should remember that and don't run Loki.
Yeah.
Spreading some news here for my deck. So yeah.
Now,
That's the reason I buy him here. Just getting positive matchups in the future.
Now, Greg is still sitting on an Anansi in hand that I'm sure he can't wait to deploy himself. So this Rime Frost is not as threatening as it looks, especially since the companion expedition of our French fan representative is sitting in green. This, however, is a card that does not see a lot of play, but will be quite important in this instance, skewing the expeditions in a large way.
Yeah, just so the body itself isn't really the greatest, but also just it's kind of 4/5/4 if you look at that. But in this case, only removing 1 boost, it's 3/4/3 kind of for 3 costs, so it's fine stated. But as you mentioned, there's still that Anansi left in hand, so easy way for a Fen to get a 1/1, and gets to decide which expedition they want to advance on, since they could have taken both, and yeah.
Yeah, and even though this is not the absolute ceiling for the Korgan Informant, they are keeping up, but keeping up is no longer enough. Keeping up will not win you the game when you're already an expedition behind. So they have to come up with a plan to attack these expeditions a little more aggressively. But the resources they have to their disposal is just dwindling. Simple, like that. They might not have the gas they need unless they can find one of those devastating hungers they might be looking for.
Yeah, also this snowman here. Just looking at Fence Expedition, it's not the greatest, but looking at the Akasha expeditions, it's blocking everything they want to advance on. So
exactly.
Yeah, and it's also the Fen is not in a solo forest expedition, so the snowman can also advance everywhere. So yeah, that card is fantastic. It's a 2 mana 3/3 kind, or 3/3 in the stats that it needs. And yeah, also Nancy, we know how huge that character can be. So a lot of threats here available for the Akasha, while for the Fen, while the Akasha is quite low on cards.
Yeah, it's a game all about the resources, and resupplying into a Heather might be the end of it. I mean, we might have another day on our hands, right?
Yeah.
Especially if that Kesha can mess with the reserve in a little way. But these Rime Frosts are really just of reduced importance when the Heather is right there. You can exhaust the Heather right now, that might be the play here, but that still means you are allowing this Anansi to be played. So it really feels doomed if you do, doomed if you don't.
Yeah.
And might this game be doomed for a loss as an Izmir enjoyer? I believe this might be one of the last few Izmirs that are undefeated currently.
Yeah, I think we've seen that Matmato and both Shokobar are still on the undefeated bracket, and we haven't seen their games, so there's a potential that Yizmi Train lives on, or Yizmi Dreams live on, and yeah. I'm rooting for Shokobar and also Matmato.
Yeah, Shokobar has won his match.
Okay, yeah. Great. so we can see him again on round 6, maybe, potentially.
Ooh.
No.
Now, drawing 2 cards is a welcome, to be sure, but losing out on 3 mana in a day where Fen is threatening the win, they have so many efficient plays already, I am fearful that our French Akesha might be on their last legs.
Yeah, it's looking a bit rough. The Informant isn't doing it currently. They need Alfigo alongside it at the moment, or any other thing that puts out stats. But yeah, just having that within 3 cards in hand, it's possible.
Yeah, and remember, there is still another Anansi floating around somewhere in that deck of Fen. We have 1 in discard pile, 1 on board. Could be 1 in hand, could be 1 in the 9 cards, but if it has passed previously, then you know for sure they were holding on to that.
Yeah. So it really comes down now to the decisions of the Akesha. It's always tricky in these situations where you are threatened to lose the game and then make the correct decision on what your opponent has left in hand, since the reserve isn't showing you any information how the fan wants to play, and now you have to make the call on what's best. So yeah, that's always super tricky.
Yeah, and especially because you are in that situation where, you know, it can only be a hard decision for you right now. You are looking down the barrel of so much power, and still with 2 mana, there can be so much coming through. GG is being called, and surely Greg has everything they need to power through, since they are already winning. There's the pass. With 1 mana left, that is all she wrote.
Yeah.
And Fen will be punching their ticket to the AWOL Invitational.
Yeah, that is true. Has, I believe, 1.5 or one more week to qualify for that. So this one and next week. So yeah.
Yeah, only 1 more chance. So, you know, get down here. And chain those events together. Play with the demo decks. Qualify yourself for the Invitational. You know, be a good time.
Yeah,
I'm sure we can find our way for it. Let's see. Why don't you pick a table for us?
Yeah, I'm looking at. We've seen you already, right? So let's maybe go a bit further down. Oh, table 21. Pampon against.
It might be interesting to follow the
sure.
tables that players we've already run into earlier, right?
Sure,
see how they're holding up.
Sure, we can.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
To me, table 21 with Pampons is also quite interesting. Yeah, Pampons is always. It's the. I've seen one of Keelan Guy's sheets where he kind of tried to summarize a few of the teams, and there Zizi Pampon was called the S tier unique hunter for DSL, and that was quite funny to me. And yeah, they do have quite some insane uniques, and yeah, are up here in a Atsadi mirror match.
Yeah, we have just crossed the 20 mana threshold, as we often see them in Atsadi matchups, apparently. It's just hunger galore, it feels like. It's such a different game when you have access to so much mana.
How did these players get up to that much mana? The bottom Atsadi isn't showing any uniques in the Discord. There's only 1 unique for Pompon, and how did they get that much mana without uniques? Which day is it even? It's table day 11.
So, day 11. That is absolutely bananas.
So
imagine
would be on
9 mana. That is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is just the ceiling that these decks are running at.
Yeah, and Pompon has a lot more cards available to them, so
including the one more resupply, right, from Merry Reunion.
Is it a draw or a resupply? It really depends on what you resupply. It really depends. If it's a character, it's a draw, right?
Yeah, but the point is you get to see one more card.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah, that's true.
And look at just the biomes that they're in, right? The value of a Mighty Djinn right now is absolutely devastating. Now, a Kaibara might be what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to say, but it might not be enough.
Oh, and there's a one card in Atsali that I really enjoy. It's the Scholar's Vault. Just play that, play Theseus. Just get some one cost or maybe even zero cost after use. Just absolutely see everything your opponent is planning on doing, and then answer how you want. I love that playstyle, but unfortunately, that playstyle is very dependent on the Scholar's Vault, and usually my opponents just don't like me having a Scholar's Vault and will discard them. But it's still very fun to play it.
Oh, and there we have Devastation for Kamagun, as he will be facing off against the Hunger. And with the single mana, that will simply not be enough. 2 Titans facing off, and Panpoon running away with the victory in the end.
Yeah.
Oh, now, as we have another game behind us, let's see what is left. What is left? Who's still playing?
There's still the table 3 running.
Table 3
from Matu.
Matu, who we have seen before.
Yeah,
and running the Akesha with the Balasenka.
And here is up against an Atsari, and
yeah. Managed to sleep a big gigantic boy. So it's really coming down to these last few plays. Now this is a card I haven't seen in a while. The Neelam.
True. I was expecting that Matu isn't running it, but apparently he's still running it, and just moth.
There we have another Valasenka. However, not hitting many targets to be exhausting.
It's still discard from hand, right? Yeah. That's the beauty of it. You can exhaust yourself and trigger its ability. So gets another token.
But and that is still 4 mana to the Atsari to be and 1 card, and they get to pick which card they're gonna play. And trust me, if they have the answer, they're not discarding that answer.
Yeah, that is very true.
It's gotta be close, and they have seen so many cards in their deck. They have seen so many options. Now you can only pray as Matma'u. As I'm sure they have already punched their ticket to the Invitational, but I'm sure that
I'm sure so. Yeah. Discarding
they'll
a
be
Fire
too
Rabbit.
mournful about missing out on a Fire Rabbit, but here's the real kicker, right? They will be getting themselves another day. Now, they are already looking down the barrel of at least the arena, and they will be entering the arena with a 14/14/14 gigantic. However, they will have to deal with abuse.
Yeah, but still, no cards left for Akesha makes me feel like if you're forced to sleep that Hunger, it doesn't feel the greatest going into it, but maybe they can still make it work. And maybe the Atsari even has a win here in hand, but I'm not sure what that could be.
Yeah, you'd be looking at the mana eruptions, right, or something similar. But even that might just not be enough.
Yeah, it's not. No, yeah. Oh, is it?
You really are looking just for even more setup for the next day.
Oh yeah,
but that will do it.
That's also enough. Just return the mage, the alchemist, and you are double advancing.
I mean, they don't even have to return anything. They just on stats alone, they are already winning.
No, it's
winning just that little bit more.
It's just scouted, so they need to.
Never mind. I thought he just played it straight up. Never mind.
Yeah. But has to return here to win on mountain and get the double advance.
Yeah, and that is all she wrote. Clutch victory coming through for Fandamuna, and Mamoru will be unfortunately biting the dust.
Yeah.
Still, 4-1, not a bad score to be at.
Absolutely, yeah. And we
All right, what is left? Let me fill up my cup a little more.
Yeah, sure.
In the meantime, I think I'll be using this little moment for a tiny break on my side.
Sure.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, Gus, that's just the way of the world. Bigger mana wins.
True.
Just like God intended.
And there's I think this is the least progression we've seen. Elbow against Mamouche, a player from the United Kingdom. Don't get to see that too often.
I'll help them know that you didn't make any error.
I'll just tune Bandit down for a short moment until he returns. So I hope I don't miss when Bandit returns, because I have muted him on Discord myself. So let's see. Let's see. But I'll see his cam showing up again, so I'll remember. And we are now watching at, I truly believe this is Mass Anchortasia. So yeah, everything on hero side does need an easy talk now. Just spawn it into your faction, it's fine. And then win the game, easy. But without, currently looks a bit tough on the companion side. Fen might just slip a win through that expedition. Is there still sound coming from? No. So yeah, now Tasia, a bit on a rough spot, needs to find a 2-0 here.
What are you doing with work tomorrow? You're working from home?
Still need to meet. Okay. So yeah. And so Tasia wants to win on either mountain or water here, and yeah, it's really tough here, being down 2 mana as well for Tasia. Usually none of these factions ramp, so they have ramp, but they don't usually ramp too much, so probably Tasia was slow on cards at some point in the game and had to stop manaing, while Fen just auto-maned. And yeah, this auto-manning from Fen sometimes really bites them, and I'm so surprised that it picked up popularity again, and I think it kind of dropped immediately again after the last World's Qualifier, since then it didn't make top cut as many. Well, I think there were only 4 that made top cut in the first one, and 2 or 3 in the second one. So yeah, not too sure there. But I'll now unmute Bandit so we can hear him again.
Yay, I'm back.
Yeah, hello. And I'm...
Was there a lot of background noise? Or
Yeah, that's why I muted you, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just like conversation or just static?
Yeah, also conversation, but...
Oh, that's annoying. I thought it wouldn't... I thought it was a little more selective in what it would pick up or not.
Yeah, I didn't really catch what it was about, but we just heard people talking in the background, so I muted it.
Oh no, that's totally fine. That's good to know. That's good to know. Next time I'll mute myself on my way out.
Yeah, sure. And I feel like this currently pretty much looks like a fan win, what we have here on screen.
That would look like it. Now, what do you have a link for me so I can?
I think this game is over. We are just waiting for round 6 to start, I think.
All right. The big finale.
Yeah. Can check how many games are still running here, and I think it should just be that one that's finishing up. Yeah, exactly. So we're waiting for that one to finish, and then we are on the final table. And unfortunate, Shokuba lost this round, so won't we be able to see him make a 6-0.
I would have loved to see him.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see the person deal with a playstyle like that, since he has been on such an absolute tear.
Yeah.
Sadly, we'll have to.
So no more Kesha no more Ismir players then, right? Marjorie was Nevenka.
I don't think so, no.
And I've already forgot what the others were, but I think we've seen all of them.
Yeah. Proposal just I mean, it's a bit of a cop out, right? To look at table one, but I mean, there's a reason they're table one.
Yeah.
Now we have seen both of these players before,
Yeah.
and I believe, from the top of my head, I think one of them was a Trace player.
Okay, then the other one was Navenka. I remember Madri, and then you remember the
Yeah,
human
I think
recruits.
it was Greg who had the. But we'll
So,
see. We'll see as we are
refreshing
on the
constantly,
absolute precipice of entering this game.
rating for mana and deck and deck selections. It's always the greatest on BGA, but yeah, it is how it
Brahma
is.
shouting police and more. What happened, Justin, in my absence?
I'm not sure. I think that they were talking about big mana pools at some point. So yeah.
Oh,
but
no, I'm exposed. I'm exposed. My private conversations
Oh,
all over,
okay.
all
Yeah,
over
yeah.
the stream. No.
Yeah, I'm also not really good on keeping track of two things at the same time. So yeah, I'm really bad at multitasking. Makes up
That's
for a great host on a stream.
That's why we have two casters, right? Now, it is Navenka versus Fen, so it's
Oh, yeah.
a Lyra show-off.
Oh yeah.
As we already have a proper look and start as the first magical training has hit the expeditions. Now, I think there are few openers more glorious, like non-unique openers more glorious than the one we're looking at right now.
And
Incaster, magical training, it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, and also Navenka starts off great. Hero ability, roll a die, anchor character. It's great. If
Anchor character, yeah, but I think you would have preferred not rolling a 6 there, bouncing it back to your hand, having a 1 mana after you, and denying, and making sure you're going 2 for 1. So that is a bit unlucky to roll the 6 there.
Yeah.
You don't hear it too often, but yeah, it is what it is. Luckily, it'll be manageable to work with this reserve, and I mean, that is a bit of a high roll on the side of Fen. Top decking into the header, allowing themselves to repeat the previous combo all over again.
Yeah, magical training is just a good card, especially if you can pick it up that often, and I feel like just that alone, the Fen is up to an amazing start. Also, just uses the Incast support immediately, so they can after you, and yeah, great start here for Greg.
Yeah, and it's only the 0/2 that they have to deal with currently, right?
Yeah.
And even that, they can just decide to spend 1 mana and draw another card, and with the amount of snowmans that they're playing, even if they do get that extra boost, they might just be feeling just fine, despite them maybe giving up then an advance through green.
Yeah, this might also be another Vara turn here for Greg. That may be a reason why they played used the Incaster support that early on. But no, they just keep playing magical trainings and show that they have a second one already in hand. And yeah.
Yeah, and you're kind of forcing the Navenka into this position where, as they get to drop their own unique.
Oh, but this one is getting boost instead of returning cards. So yeah, that's still not losing out on value with no cards in reserve.
Having to commit it this early is a little painful.
Yeah, that's true. But
right, and they're already running so low on resources, and even if they do get a double advance today, which is not looking unlikely, however, dealing with 2 water in a solo blue expedition, look what you're investing and how little you're getting out of it. You're playing your big unique, right, and you're getting a 1-for-1 out of it. Meanwhile, your opponent has drawn 2 cards.
You probably also wanted the high roll on your... Oh, can still play the... Oh, just doesn't anchor the other. You still probably wanted to have the high roll, so your Incast loses fleeting, and you can just return your magical your Mage Dancer, but unfortunately didn't get it, and now gets a boost. This time not the anchor.
Yeah, they will be sadly doomed to go 1-for-1 whilst investing one of their uniques. The anchor being of quite little importance. Now they do get to do it all again, and at least they're first player, so at least they'll be avoiding any sabotage attempts for their unique. And then playing that unique, they will be boosting their bases themselves. But I mean, it's just high roll into high roll playing being Greg right now, looking down the barrel of that mage dance with all those boosts and revealing the Scepter when they.
Yeah.
You are, and you're second player as well, so you can probably stall out the Nevenka a little bit as well. Oi, 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 oi.
Just keeps playing magical trainings. Drawing cards is good, I heard. And
yeah.
Probably you've seen the top card list that Yax played yesterday in the VCQ, right? WCQ. The whenever you roll a die, he draws a card.
Those are quite freaky.
That list looked insane, and I played against him today on ladder, and it was a fantastic list. I really loved it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see too much of it on the weekend, but that list looked fantastic.
Now, taking care of the aloe vera, making sure that they're not waking up tomorrow with that extra resupply. Now, but they have it anyway. They have it anyway. Yeah. Oh, it's from bad to worse. And you can, Madri is in chat voicing his frustrations. And I mean, you got to feel for him.
Yeah,
that felt like the absolute perfect opener for Fen into just the perfect answer over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, they're currently even, but the amount of resources in favor of Fen right now seems insurpassable. We're still early in the game, but playing with the resources is just that carries over so deep into the game.
Yeah, it's a crazy lead. Yeah, I'm also usually, whenever I'm watching games or playing games, I feel like the player that has the card advantage is the player that's just favored in the game at the moment, even though they're behind in the tumult. I just always favor card advantage over an expedition lead, and here there's not even an expedition lead, so it kind of already feels doomed. But this is an Nevenka list that can also draw a ton of cards with mage dancers, with magical trainings, so there is potential. But the Fen has the advantage.
You're facing into an aloe vera that is blocking you in water as well, so it feels so futile to try and punish the aloe vera that is currently set up in an expedition without water. It feels like you kind of have to give that one, so you're going 1-for-1 at best. But look at just all the resources they have to their disposal. Septuende being an absolute prime card right now to pay 2 mana, draw a card, and still have a 4-power swing is crazy. Yeah,
it is a good card, and also most likely has the slow plays to play the Septuende whenever needed, and two discounts in reserve as well, so basically has 6 mana available if they choose to. Can also, of course, just play these cards from reserve. Plays another Incaster for now, just wants to most likely return the magical training, and there's shutting down the Septuende.
Yeah, good one. I'll be quite thankful for that. But now you can just get a discount and play that magical training from reserve, or if you have more shenanigans in hand. Like, they have so much margin to be playing with that you're gonna have to shut them down like 4 more times before you have leveled the playing field once again, despite them probably having a rather large overflow this turn. They'll be cashing in big time.
Yeah, can probably maybe even go for a 2-0 here with that Incaster going into that hero expedition, which they are playing here. They are gonna overflow a bunch, but fortunately Nevenka still seems to get a. Oh, is there Martingale now?
It just might be our little fleeting effect. Yeah, denying the value of that Incaster is gonna be so painful because you're already dealing with you have so little resources, and that last little bit is being ripped away from you.
Yeah, still finds the 1-for-1, but probably the Incaster was one of the ways back with card advantage here. But
with the Snowball Commando.
Not even possible now, so it's just all gone. It feels like. Also Tanuki from reserve, it's on great expeditions here, but it feels so expensive to play.
it is so expensive to play. You're investing more than half your turn, and we haven't seen a single Requiem yet from the Fen player. We know they play it, so I mean, after going through half their deck, you kind of have to assume that they have at least one of them, right?
Yeah. But
And I mean, you can't be living in fear, right? Make them show it to you, make them play it is of course a way to approach a situation like this.
yeah,
But they just are at such a large advantage, being up three whole cards. I don't think I have to tell anyone what an absolute devastation of a match this is.
yeah, it's kind of crazy, and yeah. Also, just still has magic training, still has Hathor here in reserve, keeps that one around, keeps the scepter in there. So there are 4 cards, and they are gonna draw a lot more cards as well. So yeah, how can play at this point? How can play?
Yeah, they can just coast it out right now. They can just be cruising through it.
Get some
To
nuance on
secure
top.
themselves that number 1 spot at the top. Now, a magical training a little too little, a little too late. As well, the Vega has been keeping up, but it has been coming at such a steep
Yeah.
price, and now Fen is set up for such absolute devastating Anansis.
Yeah, that doesn't even need to play it yet. Can just keep magical looping here, and it might be tough if they slow play too much to get carry or win on both expeditions here. But also just getting a 1-0 lead here, for example, would be fine. But even that could seem hard if you just slow play a bit too much. But yeah, what are you worried at this point? The Snowball Commando can't really go into that hero side, so Cloth Cocoon. Yeah,
You get a decent answer for it, but even just a 3-mana Heather, like you don't even have to use. You can even make the more, the less conventional plays, right?
yeah,
And it is a tough position to be in, probably. And I think it is not the way they had intended this game to go. Not drawing the cards in need, but just look at the difference in that. 9 cards extra at the disposal of the Fen player. And when you have to back up a Nancy to make it work for
yeah,
you,
yeah,
you're just cruising.
yeah. It seems very comfortable for. Yeah, there's already GG, so Madri knows what's coming. Most likely nothing they can draw into here, and yeah, I'm not sure if they're gonna immediately pass, but GG's already been called.
We'll see. I mean,
Yeah.
it is frustrating to lose in a way like this, right?
Yeah.
Where, I mean, losing is one thing, but losing when you couldn't show the potential that your deck has, right? This was not an even match.
Yeah,
Um,
it didn't feel like it.
and
Yeah,
yeah, and well, it's just here's the thing: the deck that Greg is piloting is firing on all cylinders, all of them. They are
Oh.
popping off. They're drawing the cards. They have the answers. They can stall it out, and that is perfect. And when the Venka can operate at a similar level, right? They are also things are going their way. This is a very enticing and a very strategic match, but it is TCG, and there is just that chance that you have a more unfortunate run out of the cards that is looking like what we're seeing today, as Fen is gearing up for a little victory lap.
Yeah, it is also so interesting that we've seen the Sanunus that's currently in reserve in being played a lot during set 1, because I think there was just a lack of good rare slots for Fen at that time, and now has returned since I believe the Afanas nerf has returned to the Sanunus in the reserve just because it's such a good body. And
a great
yeah,
turn 1 play where we said where Lyra can be exploitable, right?
yeah,
I haven't seen a lot of Hatters in the crowd, right? That's usually the pairing that we like to see.
I
Kicking
think it's
them around.
the header
But
also
it is a
returned.
little inconsistent, so I don't mind seeing them cut it. But
Yeah.
just sometimes you just need a big, reliable, heavy butt to shift the tide in your favor.
I think just the fact that Ismir got a hit and we don't see too many off goes anymore just made Fen play the Sanunuses, and also I've seen more headers recently made those cards return into Fen, and I really love this playstyle. So I'm gonna be returning to Fen soon as well and gonna try my luck with it, and yeah. But also as soon as Skybound Odyssey comes out, I'll be playing Akasha again.
Yeah, very exciting stuff. As well, the answers are coming through, and I will say, Madri is holding on like an absolute champ.
Yeah.
They're going till the very end, and they will be they will be living for another day. So not all hope is not lost yet. I'd say like 98% of hope will be lost right around now. But technically, there is a non-0% chance that they are making the comeback.
Yeah, it's just I'm not sure how, but maybe there's a world. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? So
yeah, I mean, who knows? I'm having trouble coming up with it, but who knows?
Yeah.
I played a lottery. I believe in that 0.5% chance.
Yeah. And all the resupplies look so good, and now we do finally see the pass.
There is the white flag coming out from Madri.
Yeah.
A single little hoarder will do the job. And the sportsmanlike thing would be to just pass it now.
Yeah.
As all is done. A little GG will be coming out, and that is all she wrote. Greg can be proud of his performance, cutting through all of the chaff and finishing in a 6-0 scoreline. Congrats to the champ.
Yeah, very well deserved. Astonishing last game. Maybe a bit lucky on the last game, but definitely well played as well. So yeah, nice 6-0 here to finish up the game.
You're playing best of ones. These things can happen, but absolutely. You need to set yourself up to be in those positions where luck can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, even though you had amazing draws here, still have to play it correctly, and they absolutely did it, and looked amazing.
Yeah, and it's easy to have amazing draws when you're drawing every single turn so many cards, right? But some of them have to be good. So playing that numbers game, Greg will be slotting into that number 1 position now. Let's see. Is there any other table in the top still going on? We have table 4.
The other
that's already finished as well.
The other undefeated table
7?
is over.
Let's see the fate of Skycrier.
Yeah, sure. Against Flolsk. I'm not sure how to pronounce.
Oh, they just. I believe they just finished.
Yeah. And the Basira one.
Yeah, Basira taking it. Skycrier biting the dust. All right. Well, that was a quick one. As I think we are slowly approaching the end of the tournament, and with that, the end of the stream. Table 8, maybe, and table 11. Let's see. I'm just going to be looking for something enticing, for something fun.
Sure. Yeah.
Like there's another Rin festival out there. I think we've seen that by now. We get it.
Trace
Sandodu. What's that? Table 18. We're looking at the final little. The last few days being played between Kojo and Fen. A matchup we used to see quite often, but with the extra variety coming through on the Brabant side, Kojo has been less and less prevalent.
Hello, Insane in chat. Great to see you.
Yeah, I believe it's the current reigning champion on the ladder in chat.
Oh, is it?
All hail! All hail!
It seems like I didn't check the ladder recently, so yeah, congrats to that. I guess.
No, they're the winner from last season.
Oh, okay, yeah, true. So they're just highlighted at the top of the ladder. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They're the reigning champion for the. What's it? How many days are left in the season? For 3 more weeks, they are the champion, and you will put some respect on that name, Rune.
Yeah. Also, I believe in the Dutch qualifier, the player that got the Axiom faction champion. So yeah, great Axiom player.
Yeah, no, definitely. We saw also the other side of the coin in a bug fix deck that had sadly a few misfires, couldn't get it done in the end. But when you play the numbers game, the consistency is there, and that is just kind of the flip side of these best of ones, right? At the qualifiers, where you really feel the pain of losing a single match being so absolutely devastating. It's why I'm very, very glad to see that the World Championship will be predominantly played in a best-of series.
Yeah, I've definitely also heard that people prefer best of ones over the best of threes since there's already enough variance or low enough variance in the game. But yeah, I haven't experienced best of threes so far, so I'm down to play them. And basically for my deck, if I want to, I can force them to be a best of ones. So I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yes, Insane in chat. Sorry to have to release a monster on the meta. Don't blame the player, blame the game.
Yeah.
As we like to say. I mean, come on, we are doing the best with what we dealt with.
I haven't done any crimes in the deck building. No. It's I'm just getting inspiration and then playing the decks. It's yeah. I can blame it on that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's it's better to steal a good idea than to think of a bad idea, right, guys?
Yeah, but I think the bug fix trace might be the most complained about deck. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's not been putting up the results as consistently lately. I feel like like it's peeking in now and then, and it's so unique reliant, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it has been getting some love now with Afanos, right? Which was the way it kind of struggled against being put in its place. But yeah, they addressed it as well. Like it's just not seeing the numbers to play against. I play against it personally. It's a challenge and it plays a little differently, but it's not an insurmountable way to play against. Once they get set up, it feels quite frustrating, but it's it takes a little bit.
I've read the most recent message from Insane, and it makes me happy because recently I've been thinking about the exact same deck, and with Freeloader I've been also talking about the deck. He's mentioning the infinite permanent resupply deck from that Freeloader kind of spawned with one of his YouTube videos. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but there are uniques that resupply whenever you play a permanent, and there are uniques that resupply whenever you play a permanent and sacrifice a permanent, so you can spam your permanents over and over again. And that can go infinite. And yeah, we've been looking at new reveals, and there's the redocking station, I think it is. And that looks fantastic for that deck. It's a 1-cost permanent that makes your uniques lose fleeting, and I love it.
If anyone was to find the absolute limits of cards like that, you can definitely trust Insane 94 and yourself to be finding those limits.
Yeah.
And to actually streamline it in such a way that it is a reliable little fix.
For me, still the most creative altar player is just Freeloader. He's basically the one that gave me the inspiration for my Varu deck. He's the one that got the idea for that resupply for that resupply axiom list, and also is on a very spicy Atsadi list at the moment. And yeah, just a super creative player, and I'm very happy to be hosting the NEC together with him. It's just super cool.
Yeah, what an absolute joy. We are reaching the climax of this game. The last contemplations are being held as in how to overcome their current odds. Kojo is holding on by a thread, but a thread nonetheless.
Yeah.
Have a single card left, a single Twinkle Twinkle.
Yeah, could sleep once
but
more.
Will it be enough? That is the real question we are sitting with right now, because they don't have a lot of resources left, but they will have that little extra resupply the next day coming from the mess. A card that was very prevalent and then lost some of its mojo, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair statement to make. And is now only being played as a 1 or a 2 off, if at all.
Yeah, and there's if it comes to mess, there's one player that is always worth talking about. It's Psycho. It's one of our NUC regulars and an absolute hater of the mess. Whenever there's a mess, he spawns in chat and complains about that card being bad. And it's an absolute joy to see how consistent he is with that.
Well, you can say what you want, but he is committed.
Yeah, the best part is we were watching the Dallas qualifier where Rinku won, and then we saw the finals between Rinku and Belteshazzar, and Belteshazzar lost kind of both times after he played the mess, and then
Look, I think we might have a bit of a misclick going on, as Zoracrow seems to have discarded his Twinkle Twinkle for nothing. There's nothing left to play. There's no cards in hand. There's no resupply triggers coming through. And that might be very, very pivotal, as they already had so little resources.
Yeah.
I think he's realizing as well. Chat is coming through. Yeah, a little misclick. It's a sad way to go.
Yeah. Probably wanted to sleep one of their own characters. Probably that spy. That's just a 4/4 body for the next turn. Unfortunately, clicking the wrong button there, and yeah, that might be costing the game, but maybe still draws into.
Well,
things, yeah.
I mean, hunger is still a card that can be played, I guess, but it is a lot more difficult in its current situation to be optimistic about the current state of affairs.
And Fen now starts slow playing with magical trainings, gets to loop it with Hathor, or gets to return the off you go, depending on what they need. And yeah, options aplenty. And that is another aspect in Altered that, especially in these tournaments, that's not talked enough about, in my opinion. You see it in these tournaments. The stamina you need to play these tournaments consistently and to be sharp and precise in every play that you make takes a lot out of a player. Do not underestimate how much it takes to keep up after 5 rounds and still be, clicking all the right buttons, doing all your due diligence. It gets even worse when you're playing in the qualifier, right, where you're playing 10 rounds, so you're stretched even more thin. Yeah, and now even more slow plays for Fen gets to return both magical training and also the off you go. So the Serengar can probably say goodbye at some point during this day, but it really depends when the Fen pulls the trigger on that one, and just prepares with more tiny gens, because that card currently not looking the greatest. But it's a slow play. You just keep playing cards, so it's good for that regard. But unfortunate
and
for
especially with the extra bouncing being possible on the side of Fen. Surely this match will not last a whole lot longer. As you can only imagine how good the position would have been for Kojo if he did in fact have another 4/4 on the map. Might it have been enough? We can only guess, as another little 4/3/3 comes out, and now the hits will keep on coming.
Yeah, and I think Insane shared his thoughts on the mess. I can mostly agree with that. Yeah, it's tricky to build a deck that's more focused around the resupplies and usually also hunger lists. You probably don't really want mess in there, and most of the decks are now looking forwards to play hunger, and therefore just dropping the messes, since those cards don't really synergize with each other. And just either you go full into the mess, which kind of can be difficult, or you just try to draw cards.
That's the thing of committing into a single card, right? You're playing a card game. There's just a real proper chance that you are not drawing that card, even if you do play 3 of them. There's, once every 5 or 6 matches, you're just not drawing that card. And these tournaments are usually lasting way more than 6 matches. And 1 in 6 means you can also just do it 3 times in a row. If you're quite dependent on those cards, as the white flag has been waved by Kojo. Oh. No white flag yet.
Yeah.
Holding on to the removal they have to their disposal.
It just goes into tiebreaker with an Alloy on board. So
and that just makes the accidental misplay hurt even more.
Yeah.
That despite that loss of advantage, right, they're still quite comfortable in the lead that they have. Now, it does mean that the value of a hunger goes up a lot. Even when you just resupply into it from the mess, right? But they will be starting with a Buddha. So I guess it's all left to play for. And in a tournament as this, you got to move past those little mistakes as well. When you make a mistake, you can't stay caught up in it. You have to move on, keep your eyes on the horizon, and see how you can still claw a game like this back.
And still making such an slight or yeah, it's a slight misplay in the sense of it's just clicking the wrong button that's just right next to the one that's helping you out, and still making a comeback in a game like this feels super great, but
Now,
it's
here's
looking
a bit
difficult.
we are still drawing cards as Fen, and yeah, there will be an extra boost into your Anansi. But I think there is this point, especially in an arena, where every mana spent that is not getting you cold hard stats on the board, and it is getting cold hard stats on the board because it will be an extra boost for Anansi.
Yeah.
However, I don't expect them to juggle a whole lot more, and instead play in more efficient cards like the Off You Go, which is a 2-mana 2/2.
Yeah, that is
in this case.
Yeah, I really like looking at removal like that. So yeah, I can only agree. Yeah, how much can the fan slow play to not let this Anansi be hit by the mana option that's already in the sitting in the reserve? If there's one more 1-cost and 2-cost card in the hand for Kojo, needs 2 more, and yeah, that's another slow play that's essentially a 1/1 on the Anansi. There's a 1-cost by Kojo.
Yeah, but they can just hit them with another acapella training, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever they have in hand. It's starting to look dire. Now, if this next card is an Order Spine, that would be an absolute monster play.
Another slow play, yeah. How many boosts is this Anansi getting?
I'm praying so hard for this to be some form of sabotage for Buddha. I mean, they probably would have played it before already, but man, that would be such a masterful play. Tip in their hand, giving away the game, opening the door for Anansi play. Now, will they bite already? Because they do have 2 mana available, and stuff like Intimidate might be... Well, it's not going to be enough. But there might be another True Grit in hand. Do they have something to match it with?
Probably.
They don't even have the hand cost on board to deal with the Anansi with a True Grit.
I think they do, right?
Because you need a 3-cost card on the battlefield, and they don't.
Oh, true. Yeah. True. And yeah, now the Anansi is a 9/9/9, and it's just winning by 1/0/1. So yeah. Also, there could be just the mouse played again. So.
Yeah, and they still have a discount to play their mouse.
Just gonna do it.
It was hard fought. It was, and that is the margin that you're working with. A single misplay can cost you the game, as it did here.
Yeah.
Fen reigning superior, not only in the finals but lower down the bracket as well. That is it. I think we can call it there. I think that was a worthy game to finish this tournament on.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to share before we're gonna close off the showroom?
And it's also actually finished, so we can look at the standing here. So
it is finished.
Yeah.
Probably.
So looking at the final result, we do have 2 undefeated players in a Kraken play, Thaco and Gregux. And then for the 5-1s, we have Fandamuna, we have Madri, we have Dragon, we have Corazon, we have Figman, Shokobar, Blue Ocean, Flolsk, Matu, Alexis, Pete Yoshi, Yaren, and yeah, that's
everyone who punched their ticket.
Yeah. So
make sure to claim it in the Discord.
Yeah.
Make sure that you are there to participate in the Invitational. I mean, that is really the best of the best, the cream of the crop, duking it out in a special tournament just for you guys. Now, with no more games left to cover, Rune, do you have anything to say for the last few people that are still hanging around?
Yeah, sure. So there are still more. There's still more Altar to be played, and of course, I'll just do some quick ads for my own tournament series, the NUC. That's every Wednesday on BGA as well. And this week is the last week before we have our final event. That's just where you have to qualify for. And of course, for anyone that wants to play Altered on the weekend, I think there's the demo deck tournament again, organized by A.W.O.L and Equinox together. So go check that one out. And
21st.
Yeah.
Now, as we are talking about no unique tournaments, right? Will you be participating in the one in the Netherlands, which is an in-person no unique tournament in November this year?
I think I won't be participating in that one, unfortunately, since I myself don't really enjoy playing no uniques too much. I do like watching the games and commentating them, But playing it myself, I have not that much experience with playing it myself, and also I had the chance to play No Unique Tumults here in Berlin, but I ended up not playing them, and yeah.
That's a shame. Well,
Yeah.
to all those others, there will be an in-person No Unique event in the Netherlands in November 8th or 9th,
Okay.
this Sunday. Big game fetch going on. So if you like that, you can practice in the on the Wednesday events leading up to it to snatch those booster boxes up in person.
Yeah.
True. Thank you, Yikes. All right. That is everything for us right now. Rune, thank you so much for coming out and sitting here with me. I've enjoyed it very, very much, very thoroughly. I think we had some nice highlights in the Ismir participation here. Sadly, Chocobar not reaching the finish line, but a decent score once again, proving that it's not the end just yet. Everyone, thank you so much for clipping in, for joining by, staying by our side. This has been Bandit and Rune, clocking out.
Yeah. See you all. Bye bye. Perfect. Then we are off.